You're now listening to a RattHaus production podcast. For more podcasts like this, head to RattHaus.net.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hooray for Jose podcast. As always, I'm Jose, my co-host j-nic, and we have two very, very special guests. I've known these guys for years now. We work together. And first guest is JP.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Is Mr. Dre Casas. You're J-Boog.
Yes,
DJ Boogie.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we got dubbed like J Boogie the other day.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. So
yeah.
JP.
Yeah. Isn't there a J Boog already?
I think there's like a dance.
Reggae.
Is it J Boog?
Yeah, J Boog is reggae.
So we'll have to come up with some crazy unique spelling or something.
Yeah, it's a new thing. We were just
That's all it is, man. It's all on the artwork.
It's all in the branding, right?
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, JP's really good at graphics and stuff like that too.
yeah, I do that. Half my income is graphic design. Before I became a DJ and a producer, I was a graphic designer full time.
Yeah.
And little by little, music started taking over, and decided that I want to switch routes. But I still do both, which is my two favorite things.
Yeah, music and
yeah,
and you can incorporate both of them too, so that's really good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Dozbrack? I believe it's Dozbrack.
Sounds familiar.
I have no idea.
He does all the artwork. Do you ever see on Joe Rogan's on his Instagram page, you'll see some like graphic designing and like cartoons of stuff like Joey Diaz or like Conor McGregor, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's all from one guy. His name is Dozbrack. Look him up.
Yeah, he does stuff on Instagram. He does like all the extra like posts and stuff. So all the posts you see from Joe Rogan and like Joey Diaz and all those guys that are on his shows.
Yeah.
This guy pretty much just photo edits like their heads on like other people's like bodies and stuff, or just does custom drawings and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Fucking, he's a killer at it. So that's cool though. Interesting.
Make some funny shit.
Yeah.
So what are you more invested into now? Like more music?
Definitely music.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the route.
Well, yeah, because you guys do back to backs, right? Or are you guys just one solid?
No, it's just
artist now.
it's just something that just kind of picked up. And
Yeah.
we still have our solo careers as well.
Yeah.
But if people want to see us back to back, why not? Let's we rock it out and we have fun and
I mean,
we get to play together.
like
as
I
well.
said, like when we're all in a White Rabbit group and shit like that, I saw you guys get down a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Those
so
are some
much
good times.
fun.
Those
Yeah.
are some good times. Yeah, man. I don't know. Just we kind of found like this chemistry, like it probably like 2015 back in the expose days.
Yeah.
That was when we first like got Jaws out here to the Orange County scene.
Okay.
So sold him out like the first time we got.
That was a good show.
Yeah, that blew up. And then from there, like we just became like really good friends. Found out we had like chemistry with music, at least while DJing, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's weird. Like we both kind of removed ourselves from the promotion world because that's what we were doing first.
Yeah, exactly.
He was an event manager, booking manager. I was an event manager, promotions manager. Like, I was all over the club scene. But like you kind of lose yourself in that because like you're just like, everyone's hitting you up. Everyone's hitting you up.
And it seems like you get more sucked into like the partying aspect of it too.
Yeah.
Eventually you're like, okay, this is just gonna be business, and eventually just no.
Yeah, I definitely will make your focus veer from what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
And you really have to take a step back. And you know what? If I really want to do music, I gotta step back from the promoting side because it just takes so much time. It's like a 24/7 job constantly.
Yeah.
People are hitting you up nonstop.
I had so many numbers on my phone. I didn't even know who they were. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I got to get rid of this thing. Like me and you were still clinging on to the BlackBerry at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back in the day, dude. Hey, you can make the group. You can make the groups real easy.
Yeah, dude, it was so simple.
So
and then all of a sudden,
don't you have to have like a balance of both though, right? Like I guess it depends on how big you want to get and what way you want it to go.
Yeah. So for me at least, I wanted to learn the business aspect of event planning and party throwing and all that stuff. Just because there's so many different venues, and LA's a melting pot of music culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
big
so
time.
like, if you know the business, you're already one step ahead. That was my outlook on it. But as JP was saying, like, you kind of lose your why. Like it becomes all about the promotions and the money and things like that. Well, when we first got into it, it was all about making music and, you know, bringing people together and, you know, creating a culture and a vibe. So, like, you kind of lose yourself with that, you know, just all like, okay, we got to get this many people here. It costs this much to book this DJ. It costs this much to book the support. We got to do promotions and writers and, you know what I mean, on top of organizing VIP services.
Graphics,
everything.
Dude, some of those writers were ridiculous, dude.
A strand of Steve Aoki's hair.
Yeah. One slice of craft singles.
Yeah.
Like
one
just,
slice.
It was just
2
such
blow-up
dumb
dolls.
Yeah, specific branded
like
names.
a picture frame with somebody's like picture in it or something. It was
We had
ridiculous.
a Borgor show, and he requested 2 girls dressed up as Princess Leia. And like we pulled it off somehow. And I'm
That's
just
like some fetish.
no, dude.
shit,
Honestly, dude, at that point, that was the tail end of me. Like, okay, maybe this is a bit.
This is a little bit too much. Or what about like I know it happened a lot where some like DJs are coming up or not even coming up, they're just barely starting, you know, and they try to get a spot. Like remember the upstairs room, and they would still ask for like more fucking cash at the end. It's like that's not what the deal was, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, a lot of these
you gotta do the
newcomers,
steps.
a lot of
Yeah.
these newcomers, they think they just like they could just ask for things
Yeah.
like that, but it's like, man, it takes work.
Yeah,
And
you
you
gotta
time.
do a lot of free shows, a lot of house parties,
Yeah.
a lot of like free spots at clubs or anything, dude, and then
Yeah.
eventually get your name out there.
Yeah, it's the DJ culture has definitely changed over the
A
years.
lot, yeah.
You know, before
I think it's just the music
sure.
industry in general.
Well, yeah, it's become a lot of commercial and stuff like that, and the you know, we can get into the whole thing with sampling, but you know, back in the day, you know, when we first started, we started on vinyl, like more towards the tail end, right when they started getting into CDs, and you know, you would see the CDJ, you know, that's popular in clubs now.
I remember when I met you, you had the CDJ 200s.
Yeah, and then I still did turntables or vinyl, and so like back then, having to do 2 records vinyl without any kind of digital coding or like visual
Took
like
skill.
like
Waveform,
anything you had to
How
use your ears.
disrespectful. We got a DJ here.
they're both DJs.
I know.
Yeah,
So it's like, you know, people booked you because you were a good DJ.
Yeah.
Because you could make a build a flow, or you know, build a crowd, or
Set
get
a
the dance-
scene, set a mood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you know, with the big old insurgence of EDM over the years, you know, like everyone was like, I want to be a DJ.
Yeah.
So all these companies basically made it accessible to make money, or for people to like buy, you know, little controllers that are like, I had to save up like literally 3 months worth of paycheck just so I could buy my Technics 1200s, which are like standard for DJs back in the day, or even the CDJs, like the 1000s. Those were like $1,000
a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because
So,
weren't
like,
the 2000s like at least like 2,500 bucks?
They're
when
a
they
piece,
first came out,
like a
dude.
piece.
When they first,
Wow.
I mean, now you can find them like, you know, refurbished and stuff. But yeah, dude, you had to save money in order to get your equipment, and so now like you could download an app.
Open up your laptop, which
Yeah.
I've seen that at like house parties and stuff. I'm like, at house parties, it's okay, like whatever. But when they're just only going off of the laptop and they're still calling themselves a DJ, I'm like, oh yeah, well, where have you done stuff? Like, where have you done shows? Oh, just house parties for now. I'm like okay, you might want to get at least something a little bit cheaper.
With me, it's like depending on the equipment you're using is what you're getting. Like at a club, you wouldn't use a controller, or depending on what you're doing. Like if you're a big time, you know, DJ producer, definitely, you know, you want to play in the main rig, which is the Pioneer one.
Yeah.
But if you're at a house, then yeah, you can use the little controller here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah, play with what you got.
I think that's what's made it kind of easier. Like for the mobile DJ, the controller is just so much easier.
Yeah, like
You know
for
what I mean?
for people who don't know, the controller is pretty much the CDJs and the mixer all into one,
All
right?
into one.
Yeah, so
one
it's
rig.
like one interface that you can basically hook up by a USB cable to your laptop, right? And then you have the little turnstiles that are like the turntables you would have normally.
So you can scratch.
So it's just a
and
smaller
all that stuff.
version. You have the EQs and stuff, but the club standards are the Pioneer CDJ 2000s, and those
things
like
are monsters.
top of the line. There's no latency on them. Like
None.
that meaning like when you touch it, the platter or something, it still sounds as if you were like scratching on like a analog record or like an actual like vinyl record.
Yeah.
So they're like they've perfected the technology. Like it's crazy.
Don't you think it's like how crazy technology has gone from like DJs back in the day having to carry like crates of records to all of a sudden it's like, nah, I got my USB stick.
I got my Now, dude, Record Box, the Pioneers program for like organizing and kind of setting up your set before your show. You can download an app on your phone, literally, right? And like last time, I for example, our last show, I lost a USB, and I'm like, damn, dude, I don't have some of the songs I want to play, but I was like, oh, they're on my phone. All I got to do, turn it on airplane mode, opened up the app, and everything was just in there. Like, and the CDJ, the deck read all my music.
Yeah, I mean that's handy and stuff. Like it's super convenient. Cause like I think it was I think you and Tom were talking about it one time. Our buddy Tom Stein. Yeah.
DJ Tom Stein.
I actually saw him at like back in the day, I think like 2008, 2009 at Winterfresh and didn't even know it. And,
oh, damn. Bringing up the old school.
And then all of a sudden, like I get introduced to Tom Stein. We start talking. He talks about Fresh and all the stuff, how he spun that stuff. And
Pico Rivera Sports Arena.
No, it was at Pharaoh's.
Oh, that's right.
It was at Pharaoh's.
And
San Bernardino. Yeah.
Yeah, they did one at Shrine. They did one Pico Rivera, and then they did one at Pharaoh's. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Pharaoh's got shut down because that chick lied to her parents and got like lost.
That was last week's podcast.
Yeah, she got lost,
funny,
bro.
Dude.
So,
like,
question for you. So, since technology has changed and made all this easier, can you tell by listening when it was made? You know what I mean? Like say you're using the old vinyl records, right? You're going to have a certain particular sound with that. Now you have the new technology where you have tools to make that noise, but is it the same? Is it...
You know,
you hear it? Can you notice the difference?
Yeah, the production has definitely evolved over the years, and like we primarily spin like house music and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, we're pretty versed in all of it, but that's kind of our style. But you know, you definitely hear the evolution of what's going on. Excuse me, with the technology and everything, and even with the different. You know, well, you would touch better on this, the whole VSTs and the production aspect.
Yeah, all the plugins. I mean, there's a plugin for everything now. But at the same time, you don't get that. If there was a plugin where it's made out of hardware, you want the hardware because you're definitely gonna get that nice, rich, warm sound. You could definitely hear the differences between the both.
Okay.
Yeah. So the sound quality, definitely hardware is the way to go. But if you don't have the $1,200 to spend on that one piece of machine, you can buy a plugin for like $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would make all those sounds.
That cost efficiency.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think this goes back to, I remember me, you, and Matt were talking about it. And I don't know if Aaron was in this one, but we're talking about how, like, when you want to teach your son, like, to play the guitar or something, you're going to start him off with something small.
Yeah, something
that way over time he can invest his own money, and depending on how much he's invested in it. You know what I mean? And it sounds like that's what you guys, I think your quality is going to be a lot better because of that. You guys know the struggle, and you guys wanted it hard enough to put in the extra efforts. And now, I mean, I could just tell by the way that you're talking about it, you're a master of your craft. Just the way that you decide that you broke that down of that noise, that sound, like that's awesome, dude. Like that's what people are gonna notice, that passion when they're listening to your stuff. When you just have some newcomer to anything, whether in podcasting or anything, you're gonna be able to know just by if they're legit or they're not. They're gonna have a different description of what they're doing, and it sounds like that. It looks, I mean, like I said, I haven't looked into it, but it sounds like you guys are really invested, and I think that's awesome.
Thanks.
I think Dre and Tom had like some of the funnest. I know it's so weird to just say Tom because I always see him just Tom Stein.
Tom Stein.
Yeah. So it's just one word, just Tom Stein.
I know.
But
go ahead.
Like the training you guys would do, like especially when our buddy Sox and Tony and like other people who when they first want to start DJing, is okay, get on there, take off your headphones. You're not using that. You're gonna learn how to fucking beat match by ear first. You're gonna learn how to do that, and then you have 3 fuck ups. If on the third one you fuck up, you're out. Like get off the decks, like until it's your turn again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that shit was rough.
Yeah,
like at the beginning, it was rough, but it's what you got to do, man.
Honestly,
you got to learn the hard way.
That's a good way to do it.
When I was, that literally was what happened to me. Because like I said, I was on the tail end of the vinyl being popular. It was shifting from vinyl into the whole digital world. Like Beatport, that's like the number one website to like get and download tracks. I mean, they're a little bit more expensive, but you always know the quality is going to be top notch.
Yeah.
But like that's when that started like getting really up there. But yeah, man, I'd go over there and it was like going to a dojo, like literally, you know, like you got on there and I remember one of the first lessons I had, and this was like when I first started dabbling. My cousin at the time, he was DJing with Tom, and he got me drunk, dude. We started doing sake bombs like all night.
That's a good way to start,
dude. And like we'd go do like 2 shots of sake bombs, and then we'd go back and like he would pull out the hardest records that he had, and he'd be like, mix it. And like I don't want to be a bitch, dude.
Yeah. I know, punk bitch.
Right? So I would try it, dude. But I remember that night, dude, I literally was seal crawling back to the couch because he'd already like passed out, and it was like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was so done. And there was one track I remember right before I like blacked out, basically.
Jeez. A lot of sake bombs.
Dude, he put it on, and like I think I got it, and like it was this one crazy glitchy, trippy, hippie hoppy track, right? And like I put it in, and he's like, that sounds good. And I was drunk. I didn't even know. But still, dude, like that affirmation, like after that, dude.
That's all you needed to hear before you blacked out.
Dude,
like, all right, now I can go to sleep.
Now I can go seal crawl to the couch, dude. Like, but yeah, man. I mean, when you like really want to do something, you'll put yourself through whatever.
Oh yeah, you'll go through the grind of it, man.
Yeah.
That's why I had to that's why I left the White Rabbit. I was like, nah, I'm gonna go. I've been wanting to podcast. I need a podcast. I'm just gonna go fucking do it.
Yeah, man. If you got a passion, you gotta follow it, bro.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what it is. You just got to keep going through.
I mean, I learned a lot from there, like networking and all that stuff and marketing. I learned a lot from there, so took that, put it here.
Yeah, we're definitely now focused on doing our music and our DJ career instead of the promoting side, because we've kind of tackled that already, and we have all the networking, all the connections that we need. So we're like, you know what? That's not really what we want to do, but we already have all that done. Let's now step back and focus on our actual selves and start making a thing for ourselves. And it's been awesome.
Perfect.
This
Man.
year.
Yeah, you feel like a lot happier, a lot like loose, a lot
absolutely.
more yourself. You're like, dude, I can do what I want now.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
It's amazing.
The support's been tremendous. Like, people are hitting us up, you know, and it's weird because being on the promotion end, like always hitting other people up, like, yo, I have this, you know, and then stepping back, you know, and just kind of doing our own thing, focusing on your passion. People start recognizing, like, whoa, these guys aren't messing around, you know. Like, and so
I'm sure the talent gets better that way too.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
perfect example of this is Conor McGregor. You know,
for
when he
sure.
lost to Diaz, you know, he said like, you know what? He first of all, he thought he could have won. He didn't think he prepared right, but he was a promotion whore, dude. He was going all around the world for the UFC, and then he's just like, you know what? Fuck this. It's taken away from my time that I should be busting ass in the gym, becoming the best fighter that I can be, so I could stay on top. So he goes, fuck this. I'm not doing all your promotion shit anymore. And ever since then, he hasn't lost since.
yeah.
So
you got to put your focus on the right
Definitely.
step, man.
You know?
Definitely.
And you know, Connor gets a lot of shit for being arrogant and stuff. And you know, yeah, he
Love it.
He could
Love
he
it.
can talk a lot of shit. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'll be honest. Like, I didn't necessarily like him. I don't know about you, JP.
No,
like,
no, I didn't either, but he kind of grew on me.
yeah,
because,
he kind of grew on me too, because it's like the Patriots, bro. You know
No,
what I
I'll
mean?
always hate the Patriots. I'm a Falcons fan, man.
Look,
I
right this
fucking
morning,
hate
right?
I'm
the
just saying, dude.
Patriots.
Like, whatever. Belichick's a dick. They probably cheated.
Tom Brady's
they,
a
you know,
great.
they get but
Tom Brady's
they
hands
come-
down the greatest quarterback of all
Dude,
time.
they come and do the same thing every single time. You know what they're gonna do,
Yeah.
and you still can't do anything.
They
about
read
it.
other people's playbooks and
Yeah.
fucking deflate balls. All they do.
That's the game plan.
Hey, you gotta give it up.
Hey,
to
it's
them.
working.
Did they win it? They
17,
I don't know.
17 what?
We left.
we
17
left when
Super
there were 3 points behind when we left.
Can we check
Behind?
The score?
Yeah,
Check
it was
it.
17-20 when we left.
Jaguars lost.
Oh, they
Damn
came.
it.
I
Patriots
knew
came
it.
back and won?
See, just like last year's Super Bowl,
Of
man.
course they
You
did,
can't
you
count
know?
them
Of
out.
course they
It's
did.
like, fucking hell.
Like, dude, last year's Super Bowl, so my buddy Ryan, he's a huge Patriots fan, and he thought the game was over, and then I yelled, picked! And then he comes back in the garage, what the fuck? And they won!
That it was not.
Dude, I don't know
I was
how
so
they
pissed. I'm
just
still
do
salty.
it.
I'm still salty.
salty.
I'm a Falcons fan, man.
I
Hey,
actually
man, I'm
have
a
a-
Raiders fan. How do you think I feel?
Yeah, you had it for years. But at least you guys have like some fucking titles and shit back in the books.
They're gangster. I mean,
They're in Vegas now, so shit, it's
Exactly.
definitely a party
Thank
fucking
God.
team.
Thank God, get him out of there.
right?
Do you think that the Chargers should have come to LA? Like
Fuck
that?
no.
I think they should have just stayed in San Diego, dude. Like it's too close.
Yeah, it's
Leave 'em
it's
in
not enough.
San Diego.
Like I don't even like my the Rams. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm a
my
Rams
dad's an
fan,
old
bro.
school.
Oh, my bad. Well,
My
LA.
dad's an old school Rams fan. Like when they left, he's like, fuck the Rams. And then Rams came back. He's like, yep, there we go. That's better.
Now, see, I was on the other end of that. Like the Raiders were still in LA.
Yeah.
And so my pops was a Rams fan, but anytime the Rams and Raiders play, I always found myself rooting for the Raiders, like all the time. When they moved back, I really, really tried hard to hate them, but I really couldn't.
Yeah.
I just was like,
Was it the colors that you liked?
I don't know.
I like
really,
the horns on the
you know
helmets.
what?
That's what got
Or,
me.
or was it because of Jerry Rice?
Well, Jerry Rice and Tim Brown were dope when they were together. You know what I mean? Like they had a pretty legit.
Dude, they were the shit.
They had a legit.
How do you think
squad
they would
there.
have done like in their prime like now?
Tim Brown and Jerry Rice on the same team
on their prime now,
with
That's a
Tom
hard
Brady as a
question.
quarterback?
right? Because I mean the talent is different now, but the aggressiveness was different then too. It was more
Yeah.
aggressive then than it is now.
That is true.
That's well,
So
because there's
it's-
all these rules and stuff.
So you think Jerry Rice, knowing that he can't be hit like in the fucking head and shit anymore, think that'd be make it a lot easier for him to be like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna do even crazier shit. I mean, you can't even sneeze on a quarterback anymore without being penalized, dude. Like, yeah, 20-yard penalty.
20 yards.
Slam on the field.
What book do you guys have? What, you brought that?
Oh yeah, that's I was gonna ask you about that.
Cannabis
Glasses?
pharmacy.
Yeah,
I've been
yes, sir.
eyeballing that thing.
Yeah, dude. So
What are we looking at?
So basically, one of my other passions, I was
marijuana.
Now
Like
it is-
so.
right?
I don't hate you.
No, I was into kinesiology, and of course, JP is a connoisseur of the green plant as well.
I like it more now.
Dude, bro. So I don't know, like this kind of fell into my lap, and it kind of goes with what you said, how you took one thing, like for example, White Rabbit, and a passion, and were able to apply it to somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I was be able to apply my networking stuff within this, and what I found was like there was a cross between music and cannabis. It's really crazy, but
You say kind of like a hybrid.
yeah.
Ah,
I see what
nice
you
plug.
did there. Hey-o.
I have my moments.
But anyway, about a year ago, me and my buddy Ryan, he's a little bit older, kind of like a business mentor of mine, had like 7 businesses. Most recent sold 2 veterinary hospitals, and so he's sitting well. Could just not work for like 10 years and be okay.
Yeah, must be nice.
So
Yeah.
the reason why he got his license, kind of suspended was in Long Beach, where we're located, and where he lives. They're big on pets. They have the dog parts, you know what I mean? Like people love their animals out there. They have the gay community out there. Well, you obviously they have their little chihuahuas just running all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love my gay friends. But anyway, so he started doing alternative medicine. One of them was using CBD and cannabis in order to help with either the like degenerative diseases that these animals were
Like a lot
getting.
of arthritis.
Yeah,
and
or
cancers
you
and
know what I
tumors
mean,
and
like,
stuff.
or it would be healing. You know what I mean? Well, you can't in California's licensing whatever. You can't administer cannabis to animals.
Yeah.
So they're like,
Why?
no, you can't practice.
Wow, that's
Well, you know,
what I mean?
you know what
But he
well,
was
federally
like-
they crossed now, right? Or were they did now? They labeled CBD oil as I think it's like a Schedule 1, like same
Yeah.
as like cocaine and shit
Well,
like
they were
that. It's
trying
like,
to.
They were trying
CBD?
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were trying to, but I don't think
I
it
doubt
passed.
it. Yeah, I don't
It
think
was like
so.
back in
Yeah, it's gonna-
2016 they
yeah.
were trying to do that.
That's in, we'll get a little political here, but that's what's going on, dude. Is California cannabis is now legal, right?
yeah.
California cannabis is the most highly sought after cannabis in America anywhere, just because it's so top notch. The soil up north, or even the way the hydroponics are now, like it's top notch. You can get upwards of ends of 28% THC, which isn't always good, but that's like a totally other different subject. But it's a money thing, dude. It's a money thing.
Oh, yeah.
Tobacco, lumber, you know what I mean?
Alcohol.
All that stuff. Paper,
Caffeine.
Hemp, the cannabis plant can get rid of like fuel. It can get rid of the lumber industry. It can get rid of the plastic industry.
Clothing.
Rope, even like concrete. Like it is such a miraculous thing.
It's a great plant.
Yeah,
Miracle plant.
And
Yeah.
this book, Cannabis Pharmacy, it even kind of goes into the history of it,
Yeah.
about how the plant evolved kind of like alongside humans.
Yeah.
You go to any region, Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Afghanistan, they have certain plants kind of like tailored to those peoples around them. And this book, I don't know, man, I just dove into it. My buddy was like, yo, we need a branding marketing guy. Like, I've seen what you do. I've seen your business. You know what I mean? He knows JP. Like, JP is actually my graphic designer for all our business stuff. Key 5 Labs in the house.
Key 5 Labs.
Yep.
But
Wonder how African weed is. It's probably shitty, huh?
Well, I mean, it depends, dude.
Just like, I know it's off, but you said Africa. I'm like, I bet
What do you mean there's not the seeds?
Yeah, dude.
That was a high moment. Sorry.
The guy from Cameroon fighting last night didn't have enough of it, right?
Yeah.
We should have uploaded the CBD.
Dude, he
though.
got beat the. Wow.
But yeah, man.
This is not
so
skunk.
this is basically the way we see it is like a green prohibition, dude. Like literally,
it is.
like back in the day when alcohol was illegal and all the bootleggers came out, like that's when the Anheuser-Busch just, now look at them.
Yeah.
The next huge company is going to come out of this, and I think corporate America knows that. And so people are the lobbyists and the federal level are like, no, we want to still keep our money with tobacco and all this other stuff.
Then they want to be selling drugs to other fucking countries and bring it back in here and make more money.
You know what's funny though, dude, is I heard through the grapevine is that a lot of the corporate banks are trying to find different angles to get money into California cannabis.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it,
I've been
man.
hearing that.
There's,
Like
dude,
half a bill,
there's
like half a bill
so
investments,
much
dude.
money into weed.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, 25, 26 states that have it legal now?
Yeah.
Whether it be
No, that
recreational
many?
or medical?
Oh, yeah.
Or some sort of medical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, like
Some form of legalization.
You can get it in like Virginia and like at the drugstores, but they're like in pill form or like some sort of oil form. But yeah, that's actually one of the products we're patenting is a half THC, half CBD with activated terpenes capsule. JP took
They're
one.
awesome. Yeah, I took 2 of them already. Took one at a night, and it's actually like, man, I felt energetic. It's not really like a stony high.
Yeah.
You just I felt focused. Like I was jumping the studio, doing things.
That's why I love sativas.
And then once it was gone, it was gone. That was it.
Yeah.
I told this guy, I was like, yo, this little thing was amazing.
Do you get
And
that
I
little
told
like
him, I was
psychoactive like effect from it too, or no?
Not really. It's just like after maybe an hour and a half, I caught myself just walking around the house, cleaning up, just wanting to do things. And after that, I was just like, I noticed I was like, it's the pill. I forgot about the pill. But you still feel like if you want to smoke some weed, you can smoke some weed. You just don't feel like kind of like sleepy high.
Yeah.
You
which
don't
is
get
awesome.
sedated.
You don't get sedated, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect word.
So I
for that.
called him
Yeah.
up and I told him, I was like, I need another one of those. The very next day, boom, that's it.
But I think it's like Joe Rogan. Like we're big fans of Joe Rogan and stuff, and he said it multiple times on his podcast. He's like, weed doesn't make you lazy. Like if you're a lazy person before and then you smoke weed, you'll be a lazy stoner.
Exactly.
You can be an active stoner. You can be a lazy stoner.
Exactly.
Just with
Yeah.
a
everything.
lot of people don't know that. They
Yeah.
think that weed is like, oh, I don't want to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
no, it's not
yeah.
it.
That's
There's-
the propaganda.
Yeah.
It's a stigma behind smoking
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's that whole reefer madness bullshit.
Yeah.
But I feel good knowing that in 40, 50 years from now, this is not going to be the case.
Yeah, they're
Exactly.
gonna be looking at it like, really, you guys thought this was illegal?
Yeah.
Like,
Like I said, this book is called Cannabis Pharmacy, dude. Like, there's a whole science behind this, and not only that, but it's encouraging holistics. You know what I mean? Instead of this whole way our healthcare system is, dude. Like, you go to the pharmacy or the doctor, and they just want to treat your symptom. They don't want to figure out what's wrong with you. They don't want to get to the source of the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where this, you know what I mean, can help you. Like, okay, well, it knocked out this, this, and this. So that means maybe you have another something part of this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mission behind what we're trying to do is like, we want to heal people. We want to end suffering for people.
Educate
I
people
really
as well.
do think
Educate,
that.
you
I really do
know?
think
Yeah, dude. And do
that
community
there
outreach
is
with
something
it.
in weed that does fight against cancer.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what
man.
chemical it is, but
Absolutely.
there's something in there that really does fight off
Oh,
cancer
they're always
cells.
finding,
Yeah,
extracting new things about it. It's just, you're like, wow, it could do that too. You're like, God
Yeah,
damn,
man.
this
Oh,
thing's
you guys
amazing.
heard the recent thing with shrooms and stuff, right?
Yeah, California is trying to
Make it medical.
yeah,
So they
because
try to treat depression.
You can
and stuff.
extract psilocybin.
Yeah.
And actually, that's one of the next things on our menu.
I was actually gonna ask if
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
really,
can
that's
combine.
really cool that they're doing that with mushrooms because they're taking the same concept for cannabis and applying it to a different type of plant or
Yeah.
fungus and maybe extract and see what else that thing can do.
Yeah,
I love
dude.
that.
I
love
also
the
read
progress.
read that they're trying to do something with ecstasy too.
Yeah,
see
yes.
what medical values
Yeah.
in ecstasy.
It's called
What has to be-
sassafras.
Doesn't it have to be like pure
Yeah, it's
MDMA
called
or something?
sassafras. It's the plant or the root that is actually made, or MDMA is made out of. And I've tried it, and I don't know if you guys have
What,
probably
ecstasy or the
fucking
plant?
rolled tits
What?
before.
Do I got that look on my face?
the eyes rolled back.
I've gone to-
gnawing on your jaw.
I think this one was with ketamine, bro. Like, I've actually gone to plenty of
Everybody
raves,
just
but
touch me.
I've never ever rolled.
Really?
Yeah,
Listen.
What?
never rolled.
For as much as you've raved?
Slipping
Yeah.
it in his water next
Wow.
week before the podcast.
Bro, I'm gonna be walking around with like
Actually,
half a chub.
you might like sassafras. It's the basically the herb or the plant form of
Yeah.
MDMA.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of rolling either, but like whenever I do decide to, I only like to do sass because it doesn't
I've never
put you
heard
on
of
the
it.
floor.
Sassafras.
Yeah,
How do you ingest it? Is it a pill?
It's a
it's
powder.
like powdery, rocky. I just
Snort it?
I know. Oh hell no, man. That shit.
Put it on your, it
Never
tastes-
snorted an e-pill, man.
it
That
kinda
shit
tastes
like-
hurts.
I did.
So
Oh,
can
my-
you like
First time rolling,
can you
I took
parachute
one.
it?
No, go ahead.
Can you parachute it?
Yeah, you can parachute it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just literally just put it in water or just
Yeah,
just
put it
eat
in water is probably
Yeah.
ingesting it is probably the best way to go.
How-
Just
and
like a pre-workout.
How long does it take to kick in?
within 30 minutes.
Yeah,
or so, I would
yeah,
say,
yeah.
Oh shit, that's pretty fucking
Yeah.
cool.
You don't get the speediness from like, because you don't know what the hell.
Well,
they
because it's not
these
cut with like
fucking-
speed
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
fucking
dude.
meth.
Which is why, and once with me, it's like once it's kind of over, it's just over. With others, you're like, oh god,
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean-
that's my argument. That's why I think everything should be legalized, because once things are legalized, you get books like Cannabis Pharmacy where people start like taking it more seriously.
Yeah.
And then now we're going to get the purest form of that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if they, we talked about legalization of cocaine before.
Right.
And
Yeah,
everyone,
you
and
were
when we
so wrong.
Yeah.
You're so wrong.
But
That's awesome.
But the reason why I brought it up is because if it does legalize, we're going to be able to, scientists are going to be able to break it down. You're going to get the purest form, and it's not going to be
That's
as
exactly-
deadly. It's
yeah.
not going
And
to be
you
as
can
cut, just like
educate.
ecstasy.
Yeah.
Ecstasy's cut with so much bullshit that we don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
But guess what? I don't anymore. I don't roll. But when you do, you're ingesting so much shit you don't know because you're getting it some guy with a fucking pill stamp.
Yeah.
And just all kinds of different
Yeah,
chemicals.
I don't even know
Yeah.
how
If
many
you legalize
times
it, you're gonna get
I've
the
heard.
best.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
I've heard so many times like, dude, stay away from the blue Pokeballs. They're fucking bad. Stay away
Blue
from the
dolphins.
fucking yellow mellows. It's like, bro, like what? Stay away from everything, lad. Like, what the hell?
No, I'm definitely in the same form of thinking. I mean, I think things were put on this earth to be tools.
Yeah.
You know, and just like anything, I mean, people binge on fast food. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you don't have to tell me.
Like binge on beer, alcohol. Dude, we
Yeah.
all have done it. We all have
Oh my
done
god,
it,
I
you
was
know
a
what I mean?
fucking
I had
raging
Del Taco
alcoholic.
before we got
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's what it is. And like, it's unfortunate.
They're
that,
escapes. That
they
people
are
use.
escapes.
Eventually,
It-
it starts
but
out
see, that's-
recreational and then goes to as an escape.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, as people in our society and being in this kind of capitalist consumerist economy, you're always bombarded by just like, yo, you need to do this, yo, you need to do that. I mean, even with our phones, like you're constantly bombarded just by stuff.
Yeah.
Like our attention spans are like what?
super
Like
That's
short,
why.
man.
That's why
5
Vine
seconds
was
long.
huge.
Like, holy
6
crap.
seconds in
Yeah,
Vine, and you're
dude.
like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing. Next thing
Yeah.
you know, you
Yeah.
pass an hour of 6-second videos.
Dude.
You're like, dude.
And it's just like you lose your life becomes consumed by
Yeah.
how much attention can you
Well,
you know what I mean?
didn't-
like,
didn't,
get into your body, and it's like.
I think Albert Einstein says something like that.
Yeah, but it's cool because once you start meeting people who are like on the other end, like, yo, I think I need to like actually just
Yeah, I need
take
a-
a break from
yeah.
some of it.
That's what
and,
I
like,
did, man.
You
It's
know,
like,
and
fuck
just
that.
and use things that are tools. Like books are tools, drugs are tools. Like they call them drugs, but a lot of them they're made out of natural
Ayahuasca.
Freaking yes, they're natural products,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah.
And if
I hate the term drug.
I do too.
It's
I do too.
What is a drug? A drug is a mood
Something-
altering substance, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily a move. It's a state of being.
Caffeine's a
Right.
drug.
That's being altered. Yeah. Sugar, a drug.
That's a
but
huge drug, dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
that-
kills more
it's in
fucking
everything.
Yeah.
It's
The
in
second it
everything.
goes into
that's
like
why we still eat fast food, dude.
And because
Yep.
guess what? All that shitty food at the end of the day gets broken down into glucose, sugar in your body. So what do you have? It's a sugar addiction.
It's a sugar
Yeah.
high that you
yeah,
get. You race
when
that
you're eating a
high.
hamburger and eating all that bread and buns, that's all turning into sugar. And you know what I mean? And
Why do you have
fucking-
those 7 cheeseburgers? I'm chasing the dragon, man. I'm fucking chasing the dragon.
It is. It's your sugar addiction. Yeah.
I need my sugar fix, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
it is.
and I think that's what people are starting to realize is like even pharmaceutical companies like they want you to stay on their medicine.
Yeah, they
So,
do.
Yeah,
you know,
for
even
sure.
psych meds, dude. Like, if someone who's taken like Prozac or Zoloft for a number of years, and then they decide 5 years later that they want to get off of it, guess what? Your mind's gonna be fucked.
And then they put you on more drugs to get you off that drug.
And there was just a study that people who were on it and just wanted to wean off, those are the ones that either end up committing suicide or going on those mass murder shootings because their brain's all messed up.
It's like
They need something that they like. Whatever those meds do, and obviously I don't know, but just from research and what I've read, like it turns off a portion of that brain.
Yeah,
You know what
I think if you're depressed and the side effect of your medication may cause suicidal thoughts, that's not a medication.
Yeah.
That's
no. I think
wait, interjection. It's 420. Just wanted to let you guys know.
what I think it is I
Perfect
think
time.
that there's something in those pills that gets you addicted, and so when you're taking them, there's a dopamine. There's got to be a chemical. There's a chemical equation to this, and what I think it is your brain, since it's so addicted to it, once you get off it, that dopamine is not being released as much. So all of a sudden you're sad, and all of a sudden you're depressed. And why? Because it's addiction. It's just addiction like anything. And
when you eat when you intake something that you're addicted to, I'm pretty sure like a lot of those endorphins are like released, and you're like, oh my god, it's fucking bliss. Like you've seen some of those morbidly obese people eat a Snicker, like, that's just happening. Like same people get when they do like some fucking heroin. Like, oh my god, it's
dude,
great.
I saw this video on Facebook
shit.
this week. There's this fat chick, like fat lady, huge, just gluttonous, and then she was trying to get on the bed, but the fucking bed had wheels on it, so she fucking moved when she tried to get on it, and she's crying, and her fucking husband, her boyfriend, and her kids had to help put this fat bitch on a bed, and it's like, and she was just like crying, I tried, I can't get on there, like just fucking sleep on the floor. Then I'm not gonna sleep on. It's just like, how the fuck do you get yourself that way?
That's why I'm trying to work on myself. I do not want to be on my 600-pound life.
We have education of how deadly that fucking addiction is, and yet people are still fucking filling the trough in front of them. We're just, it's fucking
I mean,
horrible.
I don't mind fruits and vegetables. They're fucking delicious.
Yeah, dude.
Some salads,
for sure. But I also like tacos, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but they have lettuce.
Everything.
You put some lettuce, man.
They got onions.
Yeah, onion,
Pico de
cilantro. Yeah, it's tomato sauce in there.
Everything in moderation.
Some chilies,
Right?
yeah.
No, exactly.
In moderation.
But I think you hit on it pretty well. Dopamine, like that's what the addiction is to, and it seems like nowadays everyone just wants that pure shot of dopamine all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, think about it. You get a like on Facebook. You're like, oh,
Black Mirror. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
that one episode.
And now on Facebook, is if like you get so many likes in a short period of time, if you notice, you open it, it goes like it starts popping with all these like loves and likes and laughs and everything, and so it's like a rush. It's a dopamine.
Why
addiction.
do we want that recognition? Why does that give us likes like that? That makes us
Well,
feel better.
well, I think
It's
it's
validation, man.
I think
Validation
it goes
that
back
approval,
to the first episode that me and him did together that we were talking about, and it's all
Years
like
ago.
everything that we do is based on fear. Growing up, you know, why do you like when you're a kid in school? Why do you choose a certain clothes? Because you want to fit in. If you don't have these kind of things, you're scared that these people might not accept you into their group. You know, same thing with everything. Like, oh well, you know, I like this music, but I don't want to play it around them because they might make fun of me or some shit like that. Like
how it was back in the real raver days. Oh,
Yeah.
just kidding.
but
like it just I think fear just drives everybody to do something, looking for acceptance. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's what it is, dude. I mean, we don't know, like, you know, JP was born in Colombia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he had to come up through here. Like, he didn't know any English.
How old were you when you?
I was 6 when I came
6?
here.
how long did it? Because I got into a Facebook debate this past week, and it was about how someone played a video of this guy. He was here illegally, 30 years.
Oh, I saw that recently.
Yeah, and he got deported, but his wife's here, his kids are here, and everyone's just like, poor guy. But that's 30 years that he could have gotten his shit together.
That's what I was
so
saying.
let me
exact
ask
same
you.
thing.
I mean, you're from Colombia. How old are you?
I'm 35
35. Okay, and you came in here when you were what?
when I was 6.
Okay, so did it take 29 years? Did you just get your papers?
No.
Okay, so how long did it take? The process, was it difficult? Was it? I mean, you know,
It was a definitely long process. It was difficult. With mine was a little more of a crazy story because when I was doing my process and all my paperwork, when it came back, it never came back from Colombia, so I had to go through the whole thing again.
Getting like your
but my
birth
family,
certificate
my
type
brothers,
stuff.
my mom, they all got their stuff.
Does that mean you have to pay double?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
they don't care.
And
If
how
they
much
lose
was
your
it?
shit, you have to keep paying.
in 20,000 plus.
20,000
it's
plus. So you had to do
expensive, but-
40.
For both of them.
Oh, for both of them, 20,000. So it's doable.
It's doable.
But think about it.
That's what I'm
A
saying.
lot of people, they're working a fucking orange stand in the corner. That's not going to get them the 10,000 to even put in the paperwork and stuff like that for this.
Well, that's why there's
That's
a
why it
process.
takes a lot of time. Yeah,
So
it
you
is,
don't
but
have
it's
to
a
be
long-
selling oranges on the side. You
No,
know?
I mean, with me, my mom's she's really hard headed. You know, we had a tough time growing up. So I grew up at a very young age. I had my first job when I was 13 and a half years old, and I've been taking care of myself ever since.
Great. That's a great story.
But this is because of my parents. My mom's always like, you know, always watch out for yourself. You know, just always make sure that you are taken care of.
Pretty much that whole no one's got your back but yourself type of
Exactly.
thing. Like at the end of the day, it's you
Exactly.
got to watch your own back.
Exactly.
See, you made the point. You're like, well, you know, to pay that $10,000 or $20,000 selling oranges, okay, that's because they're not doing the process right. You know, you get the process going, and then once you get your papers and stuff, now you could get a job, a reputable job, like everybody else does, and then
like
you're
fast food
contributing
type place
to
or something.
society with your taxes. You're able to be self-sustaining in a place that what I mean. This is a beautiful place.
Yeah,
United States
but
is.
at the same time, my family is in the tax business, and we see a lot more illegal immigrants that are paying taxes and not getting anything in return, and then they're paying a lot.
Okay, but
in
you
taxes.
just said it right there. They're illegal. Yeah, they're not getting. So they're paying taxes, but they're not getting money back. Why? Because they're doing it the wrong way.
No.
At the end of the
these
day-
are people who they're illegal, but they have filed paperwork.
Okay.
They are filing paperwork, but yet it's taking so long for them because it can be one minor thing that they've gotten caught for. One little minor thing, and that can cancel out everything that they've done in their paperwork.
I think I understand, your point, and I understand Jose's point as well, and having compassion for JP's process and everything. I think what it comes down to is a lot of systems in at least the US they're old, dude, and they're broken down, and it's not necessarily that they're wrong or because there are people that like to come in and take advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But there are people here. I mean, America's that's the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
You come here. I think being born here is we forget that we're literally, and especially in Southern California.
Oh yeah,
we're in a fucking castle, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we complain about maybe being broke.
Oh my
or
God, it's 60 degrees.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
not 70
my
anymore.
Wi-Fi disconnected and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, but there are people out there that literally have nothing.
Nothing. That's why there's like a lot of stories of women who are pregnant and they know they're about to give birth, so they come over just to give birth, so their kid becomes an American citizen right then on the spot.
Yeah.
Because that's a law. You're born here, you're an American citizen.
Yeah.
So to them, it's like, okay, I might get sent back, but my kid now has his citizenship.
And that is a noble thing. And I don't know, I think so many things in our American system are so were brought up, back, obviously revolution, civil war, and then you had the Industrial Revolution, World War II. So a lot of these concepts, especially schools even, are for educating a culture that was in its just beginning stages of industriousness. You know what I mean? And now we're so far along in the whole evolution, it's like we got to go back and kind of revamp these systems.
Yeah.
Really, so we can weed out the people that are trying to take advantage and give the opportunity to those people that are fucking busting their asses.
Yeah.
You
That's
know
why
what I mean?
I think we need to keep DACA. That has to fucking stay, dude.
For the record, I just want people to know I'm not some guy that doesn't understand. He doesn't have compassion for people. Like
he
you
is
said,
Mexican.
my dad came here when he was 18 from Mexico. But you're right. I mean, we do live in a castle. We do, and we got to realize we got to humble ourselves to know what other realities are there.
Yeah.
At the same time, we have to have a system that we could sustain this castle. Otherwise, we're not. Joe Rogan said if we didn't have fucking borders, fucking Miami, Florida would be shoulder to shoulder with people at the beaches. You couldn't fucking park anywhere. It'd be ridiculous. It'd be crazy. So
have you not been to Miami lately?
Right. Honestly,
they have signs that say we speak English because it's pretty much Cuba.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you're right. We need to go, these systems that we had, they have to change. One thing, they are going to change. We live in a time, the internet's internet's only been around so long. I mean, it's been around, but it's being used by everybody now. So education on these subjects is happening exponentially. So there is going to be change. You know, there has to be. How long? I mean, you see these old politicians that want to. I mean, I consider myself a little bit more right wing. But the over conservatives are just fucking ridiculous. They're trying to hold on to a world that they grew up in, but guess what? The world's changed, and we got to change things accordingly.
Yeah, you have to change with it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you know, I think it's in the time you kind of touched on it too. In the time we live in, maybe, and I think JP will agree with this. We are like in a transition, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People like us, you know, late 20s, kind of 30s. We see kind of like the shift, and we're kind of proponing it, like the transition. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we could do this.
I think the change really started. Like, I felt like there was a big change in how people thought, in like around 2009.
Yeah.
Like
You
around
felt the
that time.
shift. You felt the shift, dude.
Yeah.
That's when the economy kind of took a dump.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And people
you
were like,
really
yo, we
felt
got to
like a
think
different
about
shift,
something
yeah.
else needs to happen.
Yeah, so many things happen within 1 year now. So many things.
Yeah.
Before it'd be like
5 years,
within
10
a
years.
5,
It used to
10
be a
year-
decade. Decades were changing.
Yeah.
Now it's like 3 years.
Yep.
You know,
Everything's
you look at
becoming
hip hop.
quicker.
Hip hop in the 80s. It started like in the 80s. You know, the style of how people dressed was different than in the 90s with like the Tupac era, or just how they dressed different than the 2000s. Well, guess what? Now instead of every decade, it's every 3 years.
3 years.
People are dressing different. Trends are
It's getting
changing.
weird, man.
Because we have access to it. We have the internet.
Yeah.
We have access to every different thing, you know, and so that's what's fueling the change. And I like it. I like it. I think ultimately it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it is. It's always good to be changing. It's just that some people don't accept it as well.
Yeah.
I think it's the older generations that don't want to accept the change because they know change is going to affect their pockets.
Yeah.
Right.
When it's actually a really damn good thing when you actually accept it and you know what's gonna come up. You're like, all right. You got to look at it more in a positive way, but man, everyone thinks so negative these days now.
Because it's so easy to be negative online, which it goes back to the goddamn
true.
internet and technology, man. It's so easy to go up to some or go online and be like, you know what? No, your music sucks. Fuck you.
Because they're not face to face.
And everyone,
that's
like,
why you can't
dude,
read the comments. Joe Rogan says, I
dude,
never read the comments.
No, you can't read comments. Because how many times have you heard like people like commenting, oh, dude, I like this track, blah, blah. Like a bunch of people can say that, and then there's that one person's like, this shit sucks. And that's all you focus on. You don't see all the good ones.
You want to delete the post at that point.
Yeah.
You're just like, God damn it, really?
Yeah.
Like,
Really, dude, I was so proud of this.
Yeah.
And
We
that's
focus on the negative.
It's exactly. I think we as a species, you know, we have all this kind of like altruistic views of wanting to do good, but then we have like a really selfish side. You know what I mean? And I think that's basically what we struggle with all the time. And you know, if you're not changing, you're not growing. You know, like
Do you think that selfish side is also a big portion on how politically correct everything has to be now?
I think
'Cause
so.
everybody wants. I don't want my feelings.
I think it's
hurt.
before. I think
so.
it's older than that.
It's like my major analogy on us as a species. We're fucking parasites. We're social parasites. And so
well, I think
anything that flourishes is a parasite.
Well, no. Well, the reason why I say we're social parasites now that's this whole like me and you like to say pacification of all bullshit.
Yeah,
it's just
pacification.
now with this whole PC shit. Now we have to adapt as a parasite because that's what a parasite does. They have to overcome and adapt to the new host and with social standards and views and everything. Everybody has to try to adapt to it. And if you don't adapt to it as a parasite, then you're gonna die off.
true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it happens.
I think
a lot.
I think, but I honestly believe, and this is my opinion entirely, but I honestly believe like those in power literally will feed like your subconscious in order for you to stay on a certain path for them to make more money.
Look at the news, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's all negative.
It's just a feed. For example, I don't know, but I like to always look at things from all sides of the picture.
Yeah, always.
Like that thing from SpaceX a while ago. You know what I mean? How did everybody see it? And there's been how many different launches? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, oh, it's SpaceX and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Where's the best?
What do you think it was?
Well, where's the best place to hide?
What do you mean?
Plain sight.
Yep.
What do you mean?
Did you
I
did
don't
you
get
see?
it.
Did you okay? Do you remember when that thing came across the sky
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone saw it? But there's been like how many launches and no one's seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so as soon as that happened, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Elon Musk went on Twitter and was like UFOs, spaceships, blah 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 blah. Right?
Okay.
kind of makes you think, dude. Like no one's ever seen a blast off. No one's recorded it, but then all of a sudden a surge of just like, did everybody see that?
Yeah,
and that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I never saw anything launch. No one. I never heard recordings of it. Or
I could
anything.
probably.
I think people who would have been close, at least like several, like 200-300 miles around, would have fucking heard something taken off.
Heard some blast off or something.
So there's always this system in place to kind of push you back into that streamlined, linear thinking, like all the time, dude. But I think, you know, like I feel like everyone in this room is kind of like on that, you know, different level of consciousness, like kind of up here, just from our conversation right now. But like, it's the truth. Like there's more and more people kind of quote unquote being woke. Such a dumb term.
You know what I was thinking though? I was thinking right now to counter what you said. I mean, you made a good point, but to counter what you said that no one saw the blast, no one heard the blast, someone would have done it. But what was that one shooting where they shot in the elementary school? Sandy Hook. Okay, so some people were saying, you know, this one guy was always against conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And you know, and everyone's just like, well, you know what? It's a conspiracy that never happened. Well, one guy's just like, my daughter died in fucking Sandy Hook. So it's just like, how are you gonna tell me that it was fake when I'm living the fucking reality?
Right.
Well, so to use this to tie the relevance to the story, you know, you're saying we would have heard something. Maybe there is some people that did that. They just aren't coming up and saying, you know, we saw the launch. We said, if we don't know, and especially we don't even listen to the internet or read the internet or watch the internet. The news, that's what I'm trying to think. The news. If I'm not watching the news, I'm not going to hear about any launches or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we're saying that, but I mean,
but at the same time,
it's a lot of what ifs.
It's not so much as they're saying it's a conspiracy, but they're saying it's more of a false flag where they had it planned out. Because if you look at a lot of the like major tragedies that are happening, you'll see some of the same actors in there and like taking pictures, acting like they're one of the victims. Stuff you see them a lot.
You're bringing up the Sandy Hook, right?
Yeah.
There's like that one girl that was in like 3 different shootings or something like that.
Either that or she has the worst fucking luck anybody.
She died 3 times. That's fucking.
That female, there's 4 different females that look alike, but they're not. Because I actually fucking did my research on it, and there are
There you go.
There are actually 4
doppelgangers.
Yeah.
Bro, that is rare. The closest like doppelganger I've found is the fucking guy who plays Pablo Escobar.
Dude,
like,
I saw that meme. That meme you put up, bro. I died.
Dude, you look so much like him, dude. That was so fucking.
I actually got a shirt that says. Got a shirt that says Plata Plomo.
Yeah, dude.
I had to.
I'll make one and put my face on it.
Dude, dress pants and the tied up, colored striped t-shirt.
Did you even stand like this all the time?
Yeah.
You know how Pablo Escobar?
I want to get like the little vest. Do that too.
But yeah, I know too.
It's a lot of false flags.
To you know, kind of elaborate. I don't necessarily want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is things aren't always what they seem.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well,
and like
100% of the time.
Yeah, if you look at it from like a higher level, like okay, look, the different things going on in government, even world relations, foreign relations, all this stuff, dude. Like it's more interconnected on a money level. The bankers, like all of it.
World banks,
dude.
Yeah,
Bitcoin's gonna take over, man. Bitcoin's just one giant fucking scheme.
It's a bubble, dude.
Dude, if I would have invested, I would have sold right away. Like,
150
mil.
Oh yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, it almost seems it's too late already by now.
Yeah.
Like,
I was telling my dad to invest in it. I'm like, yeah, dude, look at this thing. I think it's gonna be good. You know, just throw in a few $100.
Cannabis.
He's like, no. And all of a sudden,
So on Friday, there's another.
Dennis Rodman was talking about there's a Bitcoin type of thing for weed, medical weed.
Well, really? I know they're doing the penny stocks, and some of those, I think it's called Budcoin. NASDAQ. Some of those are ready. I forget which ones it is. I don't know if we can look it up, but yeah, there's a couple that are actually going to go live on NASDAQ. They're going to be traded. Yeah.
Shit.
And even on the penny stocks, dude, like if you were, they were rising so much, but like one of them I read like 3,000% or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Many people are jumping on board of this shit.
Yeah, they are.
Especially MMA fighters. Do you know Rumble Johnson?
Yep.
Yeah.
He left. He went to retirement and started a weed business. Shannon the Cannon Briggs. He invested like $10 million or something, like some crazy number, and he bought like acres of land and of warehouse and shit like that. People are jumping on board, man. I love it. Finally, we're seeing
it's
something.
no surprise that the Diaz brothers have their own fucking weed.
Oh yeah, we saw that coming.
Yeah, fuck
way
yeah.
before that.
Yeah.
They were actually at my buddy's shop.
Yeah.
Well, it's not his shop, but he works there. They're actually there.
Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting who is gonna hang on and who's gonna like kind of fall off, because as it gets more legal, and obviously that was a huge statement when California was like, bitch, we're
Fuck
legal.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah. And you notice like Jeff Sessions. And
I was just gonna bring him up,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I feel like he's losing right now, and we're winning.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah.
So,
even though I'm not financially invested in the cannabis, community, but like, I'm just happy that like our team's fucking progressing. Fucking
Yeah.
Jeff Sessions is a dying breed.
Yeah.
And as they should be.
Yeah.
You're a fucking criminal.
Right, exactly.
We have proven that this is saving people's lives.
Right.
You said
Time
like
after time.
dogs. There's dogs have diseases and shit just like we do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they could benefit from it just like we can.
Yeah, man.
And it's just like, but then there's fucking assholes like Jeff Sessions that are just trying. Why? Because their money's probably wrapped up in pharmaceutical fucking drugs.
Right.
You
Or
know
lumber.
that
That's
are
all it
killing
is. That's all it is.
people.
The government
Yeah.
has like full control of the pharmaceutical industry, dude.
definitely.
Full control.
But I think the people overall, I mean, I know that government's all powerful, but the people at the end of the day we're the government.
Right. Yeah.
We're
That's-
society. We're everything. So progress is progress, man.
Yeah.
Baby steps. My
Exactly.
dad, he's from Mexico. He sees drugs, marijuana, it's a drug, like a crazy drug.
Yeah.
And then so he went to my cousin's house, and he was always in and out of prison or whatever. And he had a couple wheat plants he was telling me, and I was just like, really? How many did he have? He's like, just 2 big ones. I was like, well, he was in his right. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, you're allowed to have up to 6 plants or an ounce at once. He goes, oh, really? I was like, yeah, do you have a driver's license, Dad? Yeah. Well, guess what? You could walk into a fucking place right now, show him your driver's license, you could buy all the weed you want.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So it's like now he's just, he's
Yeah,
getting more
my
on
dad's
board.
starting to turn
Yeah.
the page on it too.
And this is good. This is progress.
It is.
We're always changing, always growing.
Yeah, I have my uncle, a Vietnam vet. He's sworn by it. And with the pills we made, my aunt, his wife, that's my biological aunt. He's my like in-law uncle. But we've really gotten close, like within the last couple of years over this stuff. And now that I've showed her the pills and like it's a nice little packaging,
You educated her.
Yeah. She's like, oh, and the pills like we have is like 15 milligrams. So it's 7.5 milligrams of CBD, 7.5 milligrams of THC with activated terpenes, because we decarboxylated before we extracted it. So it's all mixed together. That's why you get that like euphoric feeling, and you don't always need the THC to just be stoned. Like the plant in and of itself actually helps heal your body. It's really good for inflammation. My uncle, after he took a pill, was like, I feel like less swollen, like I feel more limber and I can move and like things are kind of down. But yeah, dude,
That's what you're against, Jeff Sessions?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
What's
saying.
your argument on that?
Yeah, dude, and it's like, now that we have this and people and scientists are even like digging into it, it's almost like a revolution in like higher consciousness for people, not just for cannabis but for everything. Like, there's a story about humanity that just has not been told to us, and people are starting to realize that. So it's a good thing. And I think like all this stuff and hostility we have about like border wars, illegal immigrants, and like freaking terrorists, it's gonna get old.
And you know what's scary?
Is.
What's scary was it's been consumed by humans for thousands of years, but all that was forgotten in the 30s when they outlawed it. Like now we're starting to realize, as a species,
Cocaine
how
too,
good it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It was all because of the
But how
paper,
isn't that scary?
because
Isn't
they
that
wanted to
scary
make
how
hemp paper
things could be
instead of
wiped
paper.
from? Like what did Hitler want to do? He wanted to burn all the Bibles and do all that. And
Well, he burned a lot of books, and
Yeah.
I mean, he was a dickhead. I mean, he was an asshole, but god damn, that motherfucker could talk, and he was fucking brilliant.
That's
Well,
what
I-
it is.
You have to give him motherfucker credit where he gets credit, man. Like,
Charisma.
Well, not that, he was a great economist as well. Like the reason why he became so powerful is because after World War II, Germany was so fucked, and they needed an answer.
Well, he fucked them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But after World War One, they needed an answer because their economy was so fucked up. So what did he do? He fucking brought the economy back. Germany was a booming.
Yeah,
so it's like people started seeing that. People started seeing like, wow, our economy is doing so much great. This guy's onto something. And then that's when he was able to utilize his tactics of mind control and all that. But you think about it, he was burning books and shit because he didn't want people to know that. Well, guess what? That happened here, not to marijuana. They outlawed it. It was the fucking William Randolph Hearst that he outlawed it, or he didn't outlaw it, but he got it into people's minds, brainwashed them. And it took us how long? 80 years to fucking realize the fucking reality.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why are we so
long time ago?
Yeah. Why are we so distracted? Now I think about what else. All right, cannabis is one, and we're peeling back the layers of it, and now we're starting to get all the benefits of that.
Right.
What else are we distracted against?
A lot.
Psilocybin.
Yeah, that's all that dude.
Jerk fruit. There's another one.
Jerk fruit? That sounds like a bubble gum.
Okay. So it's a tropical fruit, mostly made in grown in Southeast Asia, but it's huge. It's a huge fruit. One of those fruits could feed like a family of 5.
Wow.
Like it's that big. Some of them are 100 pounds. You know? Jesus. But it's also unripened. It's a great meat alternative. So if you were to like saute it with like a savory sauce, pulled pork.
Isn't it the jackfruit?
Yeah, the jackfruit.
Yeah. Wait. What?
Yeah.
How does that relate to pulled pork?
No, because when you like, I guess like
you just yelled out pulled pork and he goes, yeah. I'm like, no, what am I missing?
Now I know the fruit that he's talking about. Like this fruit. When you like, I guess like when you like boil it or cook it a certain way, and then you pull it apart, it looks like pork.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's really fibrous. So then you can put barbecue sauce on it. Because you don't eat veggies, motherfucker.
I do.
Like, and I know
I don't veggies, motherfucker. The dick.
I don't swear by like this popular vegan movement at all. Like,
if you're gonna do it, do it.
I understand like the concepts behind it, but
it's crazy big.
What I am big on is like helping the world. Yeah. And I definitely think that clearing forests in order to put grass to feed your cows is not the way to go.
Yeah, let them just be free range, man.
If you can find something that's going to be a good alternative and like help the world and stuff like that, like something made naturally, like a jackfruit that can imitate pulled pork, or when it's ripe, it tastes like what was it? It tasted like a combination of pineapple, mango, and like an apple.
Wow, that sounds fucking delicious.
That's a smoothie on its own.
Yeah, dude. And that's what I'm saying.
A little bit of lemon and chili.
Grow up to like 100 pounds.
How come I've never heard of them?
Dude, look it up. Like it's.
Do I have to say it again, Justin?
No. Yeah. But what is it gonna say? Oh yeah. So I agree with you. Like this whole vegan movement. But I'm glad there is vegans out there because what it is
more meat for us.
Well, I mean, it's kind of. There's more balance that way, you know what I mean? Because if we didn't have vegans and we just have more eaters just like consuming, well, that's not putting any efforts going the other way. We need a balance.
Yeah.
Like I lost a bet, like I've said on the podcast before, I lost a bet and I had to go vegan for a month. And I only went 2.5 weeks because I had to go to Mexico and fuck being vegan in Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for 2.5 weeks I tried it and I felt so weak. Like, the amount of grains and beans and bullshit that you got to eat to make up for the amount of protein that you get, it's just hard to sustain.
Yeah.
At the gym, my performance was just lacking.
Fruits and vegetables that actually do have a lot of protein.
There is a lot of protein, and you know what?
There is, yeah.
Unfortunately, like the way some of our meat is produced, and I take it. I can't. I'm addicted to the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they do pump them full of hormones and chemicals, and it's like like we were talking earlier, it's part of the addiction. You know what I mean? Like, how long were you off? Like 2 weeks?
2.5 weeks.
Yeah. See, you were probably going through withdrawal.
Yeah.
But then you're also like a bigger dude, so I can understand
That's the thing.
because you need protein to sustain your muscles.
Yeah.
Or keep them the size.
The first 3 days were the rough part. After I got past the 3 days, it was easier because I was got in a routine of cooking all my own shit, making all my own shit, but when I went to the gym, that's when I really felt it because I required not only that, I lift a lot of weight. Like today, I went to the gym. I did chest. I did five sets of 10 reps on the bench, 5 sets 10 reps on the incline, 5 sets 10 reps on the decline, and then I did 5 sets 10 reps on the flies. That's a lot with 2 plates on each. That's 220.
That's a hell of a chest day.
Yeah. That's 200 reps of 2 plates. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fucking weight. I can't sustain that eating beans.
No.
Black beans you can.
I mean, you would have to. You literally. I mean, you could eat more on a plant-based
Oh,
diet.
you'd have to eat
Yeah.
so much more.
You have
You're
to eat
eating
like 2
all
hours.
day.
You
You're
have to eat-
snacking all day. Eating fucking roasted, what do they call those? Edamames? Roasted edamames. Eating stupid bullshit like that.
Dude,
you know
honestly,
It's
like
a snack.
what I mean? Yeah.
but even
You got to snack all day?
even with protein,
Avocados, healthy fats.
Yeah, tofu sucks, but
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
I don't know, man. There's some places
Vegans say,
where I can't
oh,
go
it
to, I'm like,
tastes
nah.
just
I
like
think-
meat. Fuck off. No, it doesn't.
No,
I've
no,
been
no,
eating
no.
meat
Like,
my whole life.
I've eaten just plain tofu. They're like, oh, doesn't it taste just like meat? Like, I'm like, no, it tastes like lies with barbecue sauce. Like,
yeah. I'm
not-
eating
not
your
good, like-
lies.
I've had that.
I've been thinking just going to fish and chicken because I love
Yeah.
salmon. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah.
Speaking of fish, though,
So good,
don't
dude.
you find it weird that all these animal rights activists and shit like that
Don't give a shit
they
about
don't,
fish?
Yeah, you'll see someone holding up a big fish, cutting their fucking like meat off them. They're like, and nothing, no complaints.
There's actually there's not
To
as
an
much.
extent.
There's
To an
not
extent.
as much as like
To an
like
extent, yeah.
cows and chickens and stuff like that, but. There are groups out there that have been doing more research on our aquatic life,
Mm-hmm.
and we've actually been taking more fish than fish can be restored in
Yeah.
the oceans.
Yeah,
And because of like the increase in fishing, a lot of dolphins and stuff are getting and seals are getting like caught up in the nets and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like that.
you've seen the movie The Cove, right? Or no?
I read the book.
It's the one in Japan where it's a cove in Japan where people go and they hunt down or fish for dolphin. So they catch them and then they cut up the meat and they sell it as something else in stores.
Wow.
So people are getting a bunch of mercury like pumped up into them and stuff. And it's this cove. It's a beautiful little cove. But all of a sudden, like baby dolphins, like adult dolphins, all of a sudden this entire cove is just blood red. It's just all their blood in there. And they're selling all this dolphin meat as like salmon or as like tuna, as all this other crazy shit. And they're just selling it.
That's sad.
That's all you gotta do is just label something, and then like this one chick, Madison Stewart, she's a shark activist.
I've always wanted to
she
eat
said
shark.
like when she was little, she would be like snorkeling or scuba diving, and she would see a bunch of sharks around her, and she loved it. And she went like a few years without going.
This bitch is
went
crazy.
back, and then there was no like hardly any sharks there. She's like, what the fuck? Started doing some more investigations and started realizing that people were killing these sharks, getting their meats, and doing the same thing that they did with the dolphins. So you're going to like all these supermarkets, what you think is this type of fish, you're actually getting shark, and you're getting pumped in with more like mercury and all this other shit.
But people can't tell. People can't tell the difference. I mean, you said you love salmon, right?
Oh, I love.
You're gonna
salmon.
know if there's a fucking shark on your sushi
But can you
roll.
really? Can you tell if it's gonna be like what actual tilapia is?
Well,
Are you asking-
no,
Yeah.
salmon is the pink color.
Yeah. Well,
Or
no, that's
it's-
artificial salmon.
Yeah.
That's the ones that's farmed. It's pink. Natural salmon
Oh.
isn't pink.
It's like
I didn't know
it's
that.
more of like a reddish pink.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Isn't that? Wait. Oh, I don't know.
It's
I know
different.
there's farmed salmon, but
Farm salmon is like a more most
free
likely
range-
what you
need
get.
it
Yeah.
free range organic, right?
Like
Those are
the ones
two
that you
terms
see
or
in the
something like
fucking
that.
stream
Yeah.
swimming up, those are different
'Cause
colors. They're
there's
a lighter
free
color
range,
than
and then
the.
there's organic.
Yeah.
If it's free range and organic, then it's completely like wild or something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you: is that all right? So you made a good point where it's like we're taking more fish that could be sustained over time.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we have more? What do they call those? Salmon farms or whatever. Why don't we have more of those?
We do.
We do. We have lots of them
Yeah.
And it's still not enough.
No.
because there's more than just salmon in the ocean.
There's
Easy.
like there's
A lot of
We're almost
tunas.
at like 8 billion people, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We're probably in the war more than people that can die out.
Yeah.
But I heard that there's a statistic.
I mean, let
that-
those kids eat those Tide Pods, man.
By-
We need the room. We need the
What
room.
is, dude? Oh my god! What did I post the other day? I was like, we're not flying in cars. We don't have hoverboards, but people are eating Tide and listening to a reality TV show host for president.
Yeah.
I was like, aliens, where the hell are you? Like, just where are you?
What about
man?
the other one, dude? Where she was like, oh, so
We need you now.
We need you now.
you're eating Tide Pods. That's cute.
No,
How
no,
about
they're
try
probably
something? It's
just,
like
like,
the Ajax
sticked
bottle,
on.
like lines racked up. Yeah.
I posted that.
They're like, better shit in the black hole over there.
I know they look like
That's-
fucking kids eating detergent. Nah, fuck it. U-turn. Turn around, man. Go back to fucking Venus. Or
But
something.
I heard this statistic where by 2025 the population growth should start to slow down, and by 2050 it'll actually be going down. Why? Because people are having less kids now through more education. Women before they were just staying at home and having babies. Now they're working for their own careers. They're going to school, so they're putting off having kids. A lot of people don't even want to have kids anymore.
Well, you also
Yeah.
take consideration
Like-
the generation of the baby boomers are still being around.
I'll admit it. I thought I would have a kid by now, and I'm 35, and I don't even want a kid yet.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And I've had that same thought, dude. It's like, do I want to bring a life into this world right now? It's like,
'Cause I really want to, like, with me, it's like, if I'm going to have a kid, I really want to be able to spend at least half my time with it, you know? That's why I'd rather just get the most important things out of the way and just kind of go with that. And I just feel more comfortable doing something like that, you know?
Well, we see right now you don't have anybody relying on you directly for survival.
Yeah,
so there's a comfortable with that. You know what I mean? So it's just like me.
like-
Do I want to have kids one day? Yeah, eventually I do. You know, see a little fucking redhead running around. You know, why not? But right, you know, there's so much shit I want to do that, like, you know, I'm going to Colorado next weekend for my birthday.
Nice.
You know, I want to go to Oregon. I want to go to New York. I want to go to Florida. I want to go to Alaska.
Right.
I want to go. I want to go to Europe.
I
You
can
know,
already
like,
hear some of the fucking viewers just being like, "Oh my god, that sounds so selfish," but to
fuck
them,
it. Yeah. Hey,
fuck
who's the
you.
most important person? I am.
Dude, the only way you can be happy is to make yourself happy first.
the journey is within,
Exactly.
dude. The journey is within. Like, everyone's so distracted by all this outside bullshit, but like, you only start knowing and figuring it out when you go within your. When you go
Good.
within yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that's the most important thing I probably have learned over the last 2 years. You know, like, I thought I was about, you know, going within, trying to help people, but, you know, you get caught up in the promotion, like how we were caught up in the promotions, you know, bombarded just by people all the time. So your attention becomes so out there.
Yeah, you don't realize
you
the
almost
damage
literally
you're doing
have
to
to be
yourself.
like, whoa, okay, back here.
Yeah.
It's directly
and
affecting
sometimes
the product.
it's hard to take
But-
a step back though from what you're comfortable.
It
really
is, but the
is.
funny thing is like, the more we started kind of keeping to ourselves, the more people were gravitating around us.
Well, that's the whole thing. The
Yeah.
parasite aspect is like, well, shit. I mean, what you got? I want to know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why-
What are you guys holding out
Yeah.
on? Like,
Yeah.
what is it? I want to see.
Exactly. But, you know, at the same time, like, we're so used to everything happening now.
Mm-hmm.
We forget that the only way, like, creation or something is built or manifestation is incrementally over time.
Yeah.
Small struggles.
You got to have a purpose and have that purpose solidified in your mind. And it's not going to be linear. It's not going to be a damn straight line.
Hell no.
You're going to be
It's gonna be one giant
Life
roller
is
coaster.
going to happen in
but
the
if
meantime.
you have that, like, just in there in your head, and like, you make a step to go towards that goal every single day, you're gonna
Yes.
I think the
You're gonna get there.
It's like most comedians and actors and actresses, you know, they go through the fucking struggle. How many times do you see like big name actors now that once you see them in some shitty like one line commercial or they're just an extra just walking through a fucking scene and shit?
Yeah.
And how many times did they do that? And all of a sudden, like 15 years later, they get their big break.
Yeah.
So it's not like overnight. I mean, there are some
I'm glad you
overnight
brought that up.
successes.
I
and
just
stuff.
saw a video about a couple days ago of Will Smith saying that, you know, you need to fail.
Yeah.
In order to succeed. And honestly, like, we don't really take that like, okay, I need to fail. We're so afraid to fail that you're never gonna progress.
People don't try.
You're gonna be stuck.
Most successful people fail a lot more than they succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the way I like to put it, I like how you said, you know, it's going to happen. You know, it's not linear. Shit's going to happen. But as long as you put a little bit of effort towards the goal every day, you're going to happen. I relate it to like making a cake. If you want a fucking chocolate cake or something, as long as you put in all the right ingredients, guess what? When you open that oven, a cake's going to be there.
right.
Same
Yeah.
thing with
It may not
success.
look pretty, but it's
if
gonna be
you,
there.
you know,
Yeah.
anybody that wants to do anything, say you want to be a fucking boxer or say you want to be a singer or something, as long as you put in the time, put in the effort, you're guaranteed. If you do it enough, if you try hard enough, you will get there.
Yeah,
you
dude.
just gotta be focused.
You have
you know,
to.
when Jose, physical goals. You know, how many pounds are you down?
17.
17. All right, what are you doing? You're walking your fucking ass off up
Yeah.
these hills,
A
down
lot.
these hills. You're eating healthy. You're taking your meal prepping.
Yep.
You know, all these things. You're gonna get there as long as you just keep it up.
Yeah.
Just keep it up. There's no way
I'm
you're
trying to keep
not
it
gonna-
down. Trying to keep it down, man.
But you know,
Vice versa.
there's no way. It's impossible that you won't get there as long as you're doing the right steps. Well, guess what? Same thing with losing weight. Same thing if I wanted to be an MMA fighter, I know I can do it if I fucking put the training in. If I
apply
make the
yourself.
sacrifice, stop drinking as much, stop fucking doing this,
But I
stop
think
doing that.
I think also having a strong support team. I mean, it doesn't have to be big.
Oh,
It can be a
absolutely.
sprinkle of people. You know that you surround yourself with, but you have to surround yourself with people who support you.
Exactly.
You know, not just like
Big
kiss
time.
ass people like, oh man, this is great. No,
Yeah.
you want to surround yourself with the people who are going to tell you like what you need to improve on, what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, all stuff. I don't know. It's just a green
They
marker.
understand.
I
I
wanted to see what that is. No, I have seen that before.
You just been playing with this crystal, dude.
I don't know, man. It's
Are
calling
you
my
turn
name.
hippie on me or what? I mean,
Nah,
I'm just kidding, dude.
Just thought it was a green
this-
crack rock. I was saving it for later.
Actually, crystals are something I've actually been interested in, but
no,
yeah,
I've
man,
just been
dude.
just fiddling it.
Yeah, bro. I like how you say our support system. Like
Yeah.
we became really, really good friends and like
Hold each other
3
accountable.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And that's what it is too, man. Like we push each other.
And
you
things
know?
are paying off. Things are paying
Yeah.
off. Like things start to make sense.
Yeah.
Do you,
Once you're
do-
like,
do you guys
"Ah, I
like
get it."
criticize each other at times?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like not in a
Absolutely.
negative way, but like, you know, you should be doing this more. You know, this and that. And,
Honestly, it's more with between he and I.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more of like a quick like assertion, like yo,
Yo.
cut it out, or yo, like yo, you need. And it's like it just like kind of like
Yeah,
you know
like,
what
It's
I
like,
mean?
oh,
you
yeah,
check
gotta-
them,
yeah,
check each other real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
yeah.
Another effective way, instead of just checking yourself, is leading by example. You see he's
Exactly.
doing something that you see wrong. You don't necessarily have to say stop fucking doing it. Just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This
Yeah,
is what's
yeah,
working for me.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm getting better results. If you know, that's one thing that led to me. I'm a hard worker, dude.
Yeah.
And I know, like success. As long as you put in the hard work, you're gonna be successful. Well, my dad was always busting his ass. You know, me growing up, I've always had him as an example. So it's like even when I was fucking off when I was younger, I always worked because he led by example. No, and he always told me to stop fucking around. He
Yeah.
also did that. But when I saw him, I didn't see it. I was ignoring, you know, his message. But I always subconsciously saw it because I had that example to lead by.
Yeah.
You know, so I think, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have a lot of yes men in your corner.
Nah,
because you're
you-
not going to
No,
fucking
you
grow.
need people to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Whether
also,
it's good or bad, you just got to be open minded and accept what they say. You know.
Yeah.
And also, you also have to be on top of, like, you know, as much as because recently, within this past year, I had to cut off one of my boys that I've had his back
That's
for
tough.
years and years
Yeah,
and
dude.
years. And then, in my opinion, you know, I just thought he was a damaging person. He's not. He's not loving. You know, if we had more people like that in society, we would not be moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, I love the guy. I used to kiss his mom on the cheek when I'd go to his house. You know, like that's the kind of love. But I think he's just not a good person.
Right.
And as much as it hurts me to cut people off, that's what I got to do for me to grow. Because who's the
Yeah.
most important person? You are.
Yes. yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like
for sure.
if I have to take that out of my fucking daily routine, then that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
You know, may God be with you, whatever, if you believe in this, but that, you know, best of luck to you. I
Yeah.
hope you do great on your journey, but I'm not going to be a part of it anymore.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
actually lately been having the same thing. I had to cut off one of my boys. It's hard, but at the same
It
time,
hurts,
if you
man.
don't do that, they might not be a better person by you cutting them off. You know, they're gonna realize like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm losing my friends, I'm losing
Yes.
my family. Now he's realizing like, I mean, he basically left California because that was the only way for him to change. You know,
Yeah.
being here wasn't doing anything for him, but by us telling him, you know what, we don't want to be around you because this is the type of person you are, and eventually it finally hit him. It
Yeah.
finally hit him, and he went back to his family. And we're like, listen, it's not that we don't love you. We're always gonna have care and love for you, but right now your negativity, the way you're acting, the way you're going, it's just not for me.
And it's
Yeah.
good that
Yeah, it's
it's
like-
good that he took it. You know, you cutting him off. It's good that that's what fueled it, sparked the change. You know, some people like the person I'm talking about, he doesn't give a fuck. He goes, fuck you. I don't need you. I don't need them. I don't need them. I don't do them.
That's anger,
That's
bro.
bad.
Yeah.
That's bad for you. That you're not going to grow that way, bro.
He's holding something else in
Yeah,
that's
that's
been bugging him.
That's an
Yeah.
emotional response, dude. Like that's nothing on
How
you,
long are
bro.
you going to, I know it's nothing on me,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like, the question is that what's heartbreaking is like, how long are you going to have this mentality? Because
Exactly.
you're going to lose all the time while you have this
But
mentality.
also think
Yeah.
how many other people are going to see that you cut him off, knowing that you guys were so close, and they're going to start realizing, you know what, I understand now why he cut him off. I'm going to cut him off too, and then eventually he's going to be stuck with nothing.
That's exactly what happened with us.
Nobody.
Like, you know, I was the first one, and our friends were like, whoa, you actually told them that? I'm like, yeah, I did. I made them cry. I made the guy cry, you know? So eventually they realized, like, how much of a trouble he really was. You know, they just saw some of it, but, like, no, you need to understand. He was much deeper than what he was. And eventually, you know, they kind of cut him off. Other people cut him off, and that's what led him to, like,
Yeah,
dude, I need to
because
fucking
once
really
they
change now.
Because I'm sure, like once he lost your friendship, he started hanging out with the other people more, and then they started to see like, oh shit, like this is no fucking joke.
Exactly.
Like, he's actually like this, and like,
It
nah,
became
I
a
can't
domino
handle it.
effect for him, you know?
Yeah.
And it's-
I think that's good,
the
though.
whole parasite bullshit
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes like those people, they just want to pull you down to their level. It's like I can't do it.
Yeah, you do want to see
That's
nobody
why.
fall, man.
Yeah, that's why I let go of alcohol,
sucks.
man. That shit was fucking dragging me down. It was fun.
What did
was fucking fun.
Agent Smith say in the Matrix, where he's like, humans are a virus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking true, man.
Right? But it goes back to the part like you kind of find your people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ones that are gonna be in your corner to support you, to criticize you. But the criticism isn't really like to be derogatory or condescending or even narcissistic. It's more like, I love you, so I'm gonna tell you what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, but those are the people you want around because you know, like, you're gonna be supportive of each other the entire time.
They're gonna hold me accountable.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's why for like the longest time I like didn't really go to any like any clubs and stuff like that. I see you guys have shows, but I'm like, I can't do it. Like I'm still have the urge to fucking drink. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking just stay away from clubs and
And we
shit.
totally understand that, you know.
Yeah.
We were like, hey, we get it, you know. You got to do
we
your
were
thing.
Like I would go to shows. I'd just see like if it was like a band or something, I'd go in there, see the quick bands, and then fucking get the fuck out. But I'd always have like a water or a cranberry juice in my hand, just like,
Right.
dude, that like I can't fucking do it.
But I commend you. I commend you because when we go out, like, you know, when I went out with you two, I had a lot more beers than you did, but you had a couple,
lot.
you know. Yeah, you had a lot. I know. I had a blast, you know.
Yeah,
but
you
like,
did.
I respect you so much because you put yourself in an environment that's not easy for you. Well,
That's why I
it's
chain
easier.
smoke, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, I want a beer. Now I'm gonna fucking light up like a few cigarettes,
like
get that shit out of the way.
I'm sure it's gotten easier
cannabis,
on you now.
bro.
Yeah.
Cannabis, I'm telling you.
I'm still under probation, man. Can't do anything. Can't
That's,
no driving with that
I
shit.
I got you, man.
And an Uber from fucking Fullerton to Riverside. I ain't got that kind of cash.
That's true.
Yeah. Dude, the other day did I tell you I started Ubering for just extra cash during the week?
No, not at all.
But the other night I went to fucking, where was I going? Oh, I was in LA, and then somehow I ended up in Redondo Beach. At midnight, I pick up this one kid, and on my GPS it says an hour and a half away. Fucking kid was going to Palmdale. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And then he's just like, hey, or I asked him, what kind of music do you want to listen to? And he goes, I got my headphones in, just drive. I was like, all right. Fucking didn't go a mile over fucking 68. I fucking drove him there. Off one ride there, I got like, it was $72, and I got an $18 tip.
Oh shit.
So $90
Nice,
for an hour and a half drive, and of course I had to drive back an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
But fuck.
all that cash just went to gas.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
But hey, you can make some good money doing that.
Yeah.
As an extra side gig.
I did Lyft for a while. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I did it for about a half a year. It was
Okay.
good. It was good, some extra cash. But
Well, what I hear from Mike is that you get some like fucking weirdos.
Oh, you drive
sometimes,
too?
like,
dude,
some real fucking
I
weirdos.
can't even imagine.
bro, where JP used to live, he used to live off of Beach Boulevard, like by Knott's, where all those like sex shops are and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know those.
I picked up.
He used to
some
live there, huh?
Hooker Town is what I call it.
yeah, pretty
dude,
much.
dude,
What
that
about like
shit
La
was-
Palma and all that shit?
Oh, dude, like all that stretch of beach right there, man. Oh man, I was lifting one night and like I got a ping and this guy gets in my car and he has this briefcase and like is all dressed in leather and stuff like that. And I'm
Oh
like,
shit.
starts talking to me about, do you know any like clubs around here? Blah blah blah. Like into BDSM, and I'm like, nah, dude, I don't swing that way, man. I'm like, where do you want me to take? Like, we're just trying to end the. Where do you want me to take you? Oh, is this one good? Is this like I was just trying to get him
Get out of my car, man.
dude,
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to fuck you.
what the hell's that vibrating noise?
Put your dick away, man.
I'd be so pissed.
Yeah,
but
dude.
you look back like,
You meet
oh
a lot
hell
of
no.
interesting people.
Oh, I
though.
didn't even want to look at my rearview mirror, bro. I was just like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Like, get the fuck out of my car.
Dude,
Like,
my
what
my
the
uncle
hell?
told me that in the
Windex
like
with
early
seats.
90s
Seriously,
or something. My uncle was a cab driver in Vegas, right? And he said that like he's about to go have a dinner before he started driving again. So he's driving to his place, and this guy kind of like waving him down. So he stops, like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hey, I need your help. I need to go to this place." Like, he's like, "If you can wait like maybe 20 minutes, I'll come back." He's like, "Yeah, that's fine." My uncle goes, has dinner, you know, all that stuff. Comes back, picks the guy up, and he's like, "Oh, I need your help with the suitcase." He's like, "Okay, whatever." He just goes up, helps him bring this thing. He's like, "Man, it's heavy." He's like, "Yeah, it's like 3 weeks worth of laundry." He's like, "Oh, yeah, that sucks." Puts it in his car, loads it up. They start driving. He's like, "Where do you want to go?" Just make a right over here, and then, you know, left on this street, blah, blah. He's all right. And he takes him to like a fucking dump. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, are you sure you're gonna? He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw this stuff out. He's like, okay, dumps it. Sees that like a few days later, or like a week later, that a fucking body was found there. My uncle's thing. He's like, what the fuck? My prints are on that. And sure enough, they called my uncle into the police department and all that stuff. They talked to him. Yeah, he helped the guy dump a body, so he described the guy and all this shit. He's like, yeah, Vegas, man. Vegas in the 90s.
that, dude.
He helped the guy dump a body.
And he had no idea.
No,
He was
just
accomplice.
the guy told
He
him
didn't
it
even
was
know
just
it.
like 3 weeks worth of laundry. He's like, okay, yeah, whatever, dude. Like,
Fuck.
Dang,
Luckily,
dude,
my uncle wrote-
I didn't
yeah.
transport a body.
luckily my uncle wrote down like the pickup and the drop off times. Because if he didn't do that, then he would have been fucked. He would have been an
Yeah.
accomplice.
Oh my
He wrote that down. He's like, yeah, I
gosh,
didn't think anything of it. And he's like, you didn't think it was weird? He's like, yeah, I thought it was a little strange, but I didn't really think anything of it. But-
Yeah. I think he
Dang,
would have
talk
got
about
off,
being
though.
at the wrong
Oh,
place.
dude,
at
I was
the wrong
talking to him.
time,
Like, I
dude.
want to get him on the show. Like, just because his stories alone from being
That'd
a
be
cab
awesome,
driver
man.
Fuck
are
yeah.
nuts, dude.
Man.
Because I guess where his apartment used to be, there used to be a lot of like hookers and drugs.
Yeah.
And stuff. He's like, yeah, it was a little shithole apartment, but it was there. But yeah, he was telling us some crazy shit.
Dude, the adventures.
Adventures of being a
man.
cab driver.
A couple
in
weeks
Vegas.
ago, I picked up these chicks from Saudi Arabia, and they're telling me how they just got the right to the women just got the right to drive like last year or something.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that weird? Like,
No.
it's not weird. It's crazy, but that just goes to show how old school the Middle East is.
Yeah.
Or
They
what
still
about
think that women
Libya,
are
dude?
inferior.
Fucking
Bro,
they
even
used to have
here,
slaves
man.
in Libya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slaves.
I'm so, honestly, dude, like, you know, sometimes people get or women get like the flack for being feminist or whatever, but honestly, go them on this last movement. You know what I mean? Like, it's time that
125.
you know what I mean. People like give them the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
As people, not just as a gender, but just as human beings. That's what I think, dude. Like, screw this label shit, man. Like, we're all humans. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care what race you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care, you know, where you come from. The fact that we can sit here and have an intelligent conversation, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk
An
about
Zero
open mind-
judgment.
That's
You know
why,
what I
like, I
mean?
really wanted to have you guys because I know you guys are both super open-minded. Like, you guys won't get like your panties in a bunch if we fucking talk about a subject that you
Nah,
don't agree with. It's
dude.
just
Yeah.
you have to hear like both sides. Like me and him have talked about it. Like we like to argue both sides of an argument. You know, so if we're talking to a hardcore feminist, we're gonna talk against it. If we're talking to someone who's hardcore against feminism, we're gonna talk like as if we're feminists.
Yeah.
you got to learn to argue both sides of a subject.
Yeah,
to really
definitely.
learn from it.
Very
Yeah,
true.
but we don't
Very
get
true.
that luxury, though.
no, we don't. It's like freedom of speech. Like, how free is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Well,
It-
so many people are so politically correct now that it's kind of sometimes hard to just say what you speak your mind because you're gonna get fucking.
that's
nailed
why
for
I
it.
envy sometimes like stand-up comedians who don't have a show on a network because they have the free range of saying whatever the fuck they want, and
Yeah.
if it upsets an abundant amount of people, they're gonna be like, it was a joke, you didn't get it, it wasn't
Sorry.
funny to you,
Yeah.
like sorry, like
yeah, it's my perception, not
Yeah.
yours.
Well, like that
Exactly.
new Dave Chappelle one. Have you seen?
Yeah.
oh
fuck
yeah,
yeah.
with the
Netflix
transgenders, and
they were
all that
like
stuff.
iffy about like,
No,
oh,
I'm
we don't
so
know,
glad.
and they're like, fuck it, let's just do it
Yeah.
anyway.
Dude, I'm so glad, man.
Well, like I was talking earlier today that Tom Segura's podcast, not podcast, his stand-up show, Disgraceful,
Yeah.
when he talks shit on people from Louisiana, right? They got so fucking butthurt. They sent him messages and stuff like, oh, you know what? If Netflix doesn't remove you, then I'm canceling my subscription. And his response was like, Hulu's got some good stuff. Like that's his. Then he made a shirt that says "Build the Wall," and it's like it's Louisiana, but it's like if to build a wall around Louisiana to keep them in there and shit like that. Like he just doesn't give a fuck, dude. He's
Yeah.
like whatever. Dude,
Talking
it's
about
my
Dave
show.
Chappelle's special on the transgender thing, you know that speech where he gives, you know what, no matter what you do, you know, as long as you should be treated with the same amount of dignity for he's like, you mean people could do whatever they want, live whatever lives they want, and not be judged? Like this is a good. He goes on like a speech though, for like,
Yeah.
and it was great. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. You know,
true.
Dave Chappelle, he's number one in my book for sure. But I just think as a person, he's such a beautiful human being. Like
Yeah.
you know, we should
yeah.
all strive to be that way. Like
Compassion,
he goes,
dude. That's what
yeah.
it's about, dude. It's about compassion, really.
Yeah.
Like we oftentimes overlook that. We're all, you know, competitive. We're living in a competitive society.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You know, what kind of car do you drive? Where do you live? You know what I mean? What are you wearing? All that stuff. We live in a competitive society. That's just how we're made up. And
I think it's a
capitalism,
species, not even every
Well, yeah,
species
yeah,
has
yeah.
to be competitive. It's a dog eat dog world.
It is. It is. We definitely live in a duality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like good, evil, God, devil, like that's
Yeah.
around us.
Left or right.
Left,
See,
right,
with me,
exactly.
I love it when like one of my friends or I hear someone like, "Yo, I just got this," so I'm like, "Dude, that's fucking awesome."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
fucking
Yeah.
dope. Like, I get
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
for them.
Me
Yeah.
too. But then
I feel like I'm a part of it. Like,
some
yeah,
other people
dude.
are like, some other people are like, "Oh, fuck."
Some
that
people
shit,
get
man."
offended.
Like,
They're
what?
like, "Oh no,
really?
he's gonna take away from me."
Yeah.
And it's like,
just like it's such a
no,
silly way
dude.
to
Like we
think.
can rise together. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that way. As a matter of fact, the more people that you have working toward a goal, the better and more it's gonna be.
See,
For
Like,
sure.
in
Yeah,
the
that was
end.
that was my plan from the beginning, and it still is. Like for the podcast, you know, like I did it so I can interview, you know, local artists and like friends and all that stuff, and so I don't want to just like grow this like by myself. I
Right,
want to bring
right.
other people up with me. Like,
Yes.
there's no point.
That's what
if
it's
I'm there
about.
by myself, I'm just gonna be standing on this fucking tower by myself, being like, hey, "Isn't this great?" But I got nobody to fucking share it
Yeah,
with.
dude. Like,
Like,
why?
yeah.
Why would you want to be that way?
Just build a fucking empire with a group of fucking good people, dude.
And now that you're all gonna grow too, like
Exactly, you
when
grow as people.
If you say you have a podcast where it's just one guy going on a rant every week, well, guess what? We're gonna hear a one-sided fucking conversation.
I
But
don't
when you
know.
have two people, you're gonna hold like say I disagree with say I
Yeah.
and we've gone back and
Oh
forth
yeah,
in so many
that cocaine
different debates.
episode was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was
That shit was
great.
good.
But
No, but I can kind of counter it with one example, and that's Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast. Bill
Yeah.
Burr does it by himself, but at the same time, he'll argue both sides of the argument by himself.
if you could do that,
Somehow,
then it's different.
it's
That's
fucking
crazy.
genius, and it's hilarious. And then he'll always end something if he knows like it might be taken as politically incorrect or whatever. He'll be like, "What do I know? I'm just some fucking asshole, just probably making shit up." He's like, "I don't know."
Yeah,
But that's it. That's just to save his own ass.
Bill
at that
Burr's
point.
top 5 for sure.
Oh yeah,
He's one of the greats.
it's hilarious.
Well, dude, when people can break down stuff like that, that's like true genius, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like beatboxing, almost. That's just like the analogy that it came in my head. Because, like, when you're beatboxing, you literally have to make, like, 3 or 4 different sounds with your mouth and your
At the
lungs.
fucking same time.
At the same time. And you still have to, like, somehow, you know, organize a pattern in your brain.
It's
But,
like freestyling when they're doing like Busta Rhymes when he freestyles super fucking quick. It's like, bro, how do you breathe that fast? How do you talk that fast? And
You'll stumble. You know,
Yeah.
but trying to do that for like a good 2 minutes of nonstop, it's like that's
it's ridiculous.
dumb.
And the only time they really stop is to take a breath.
Yeah.
Eminem,
yeah, dude.
His latest album though is kind
Tech
of
Nine.
No,
Dude,
bro.
I
His
love
latest,
that song. What's that song with Tech
haven't heard
Nine
it yet.
and
it's a lot.
who
more
else
rough.
was it? What Kendrick Lamar, Tech Nine. What is it? Fragile, dude.
Oh, the new one?
fuck.
That new one?
No, this one's old. It's like 5 years old. But this is like when at least or 4 years old. But Kendrick Lamar just kills it, and then that's when I was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
this guy's gonna be fucking huge, and he was, you know. But look that up, Fragile. I mean, when you get a chance, dude, it's
Yeah.
fucking legit.
Dude, there's so many geniuses out there.
There are,
Yeah.
and how many undiscovered geniuses are out there?
Yeah, man, it's crazy to think about. But I think like, you know, people who kind of just, you know, like encourage like, you know, a forum like this or something like that. Like I think they're gonna come out more and more and more. You know,
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean?
oh, for
Definitely.
sure.
Social media
the
has helped-
paradigm
that-
is shifting.
That's
Yes.
one thing with social media that's great is that a lot of people can actually showcase their talents more
Yeah.
to the world,
With the
and
internet.
and it's all word of mouth at that point too.
Yeah, dude.
Like you like a video, you're gonna fucking share it, you're gonna like it, and people see what you like, and it's just gonna keep fucking
Do
popping
you see
up.
a change in yourself since you've been doing the podcast with your speech? With your speech?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten a lot better, like speaking to people.
Yeah.
in a way.
Very
I'm not
comfortable.
Breaking down ideas a lot easier.
Yeah,
right?
it makes thinking a lot easier. It makes thinking before speaking a lot better.
Listening.
Yeah.
Listening.
Yeah. And the thing is like listening and actually listening and not just waiting until the person's done speaking so you can
Yes.
throw your 2 cents in.
yeah.
So
For
it's
sure.
And I think
definitely
you get
different.
a lot more of that, like when we have guests on or whatever that don't podcast too much, you could tell that they kind of have those traits because they're not used to being on the mic. It could go either way. Sometimes they're not going to talk, or sometimes they're going to be all over the
I've
mic.
had non-talkers before, and that shit is fucking rough.
Yeah.
Because like before, I wouldn't have Justin as my co-host. It was just me. So then like off air, they're like, yeah, man, this and that, blah blah blah. Mics go hot, and dude, how's your day going? It's pretty good. Like, oh, did you do anything interesting? Nah,
Yeah.
I just went to work and hung out at home.
How was traffic on the way here?
Yeah.
Fuck, give me something.
It's like, dude, make up a story.
sucked.
Like
Yeah.
any animals?
Yes.
Yeah, I like cats. What? It's like, and then I had to end it like an hour back then, or maybe 45 minutes. I'm like, yeah, dude, I think I had something to do. Like, just, you have to end it. And it's like,
Yeah.
And there's conversations like this where like the end is coming, but I have to fucking.
Yeah, how
hard,
are we on time?
I don't even. Yeah.
We're like what 135.
Damn.
133.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, so we'll probably.
This has been a great one, dude.
Yeah,
Very
we'll probably,
nice to
we'll
meet
probably
you guys,
finish
by the
it
way.
here,
Yeah,
but
man.
before we do, anything you guys have to plug or anything, just into that camera and that one right there.
Let's
Well,
see.
I mean, I think the one thing I
Any
kind of want to
shows
talk
or-
about is we are developing part of the thing I'm doing with cannabis is we have to do outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of developing a kind of festival or outreach community thing that combines music along with cannabis. That's going to be more on the educational side, like truly. The thing that's going to set companies apart is compliancy and how you come at educating the people about the truth of cannabis and not so much the recreational let's get stoned and smoke freaking joints and blunts and dabs all the time.
So are you
This isn't
planning
about-
on having like speakers and stuff, like people who use it and have
yes
gotten better and stuff?
we're thinking of doing like a live podcast where musicians come in and talk about like maybe their creative process or how cannabis has helped them and stuff like that. Get in the studio. Our buddy, his roommate Patrick, has Hybrid Studios in Santa Ana. It's for rent and stuff like that, but he's got an acoustic room, a mastering room, a pre-production room,
And a green screen.
screen, a big old photo studio, and we're gonna use basically our resources in order to push kind of like this idea of ours. Our next show together will be March 1st is right now at La Cave in Costa Mesa. But yeah, man, there's this emergence I found of cannabis and music. I mean, it's huge in the rap industry, but in ours of the electronic music world or dance music world, it's prevalent as well. I have a lot of contact. As a matter of fact, I went to the Night Base show, 4-year anniversary at Sound this last Thursday. AC Slater's huge in the EDM world, and like he sold out Sound like massively. And one of the photographers that were there, he was one of the branding ambassadors for Weed Maps, and that's how I met him. We had like a dinner meeting and everything, and I saw him, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, yo, you're here. And he's like, dude, yeah. And I was like, we kind of mentioned like we were in the music business as well. And I was just like, whoa. And then everyone that I've talked to is somehow like involved with this. And it's crazy how music and cannabis is kind of just running like a parallel, if not a perpendicular path.
Oh yeah,
right now.
I think like marijuana with any kind of creative path, any kind of art, really, it goes hand in hand.
It's the having another perspective. Like I think there's a direct correlation with creativity like, of artists and marijuana because it's giving you a different perspective that you normally wouldn't have. So ultimately,
it makes you think.
The product's going to be better because you're not just thinking with one mind. Now you got two minds, kind of things working on things. So it's like you're guaranteed to get more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the correlation between like the music world and weed.
Well, it's
You're able to come up with things that normally you wouldn't. That's why I like the podcast when I usually smoke before. And I always smoke because I'm able to touch on normal things on things I normally wouldn't be able to touch on.
Right.
Because I have a different perspective now. I'm able to do that. So
it's almost like, even with music or even something like cannabis, you're kind of walking that line of, reality, physical matter, and like kind of metaphysical with like the abstract thought and everything like that. So you're like finding this medium, you know what I mean? And like it's funny how it just kind of ties together that way, the creativeness with, obviously that induces creativity, you know what I mean, or thought. Like I know you've sat there being kind of high and you're just like, dude, get all philosophical with something all of a sudden, and like all of a sudden you're on a research tear. Yeah. I've done that.
Dude.
Yeah.
So just research after research. You're like, dude, like all the tabs are just the same subject, but just different websites. You're like, fuck.
Hey, have you seen that video on Instagram? There's this black dude. He's just like, hey, bruh, I was high the other day and I was thinking, if you cut your foot off or cut your leg off, are you gonna feel pain? He goes, of course you're gonna feel pain. Where are you gonna feel it? You ain't got no leg. He goes, you're gonna feel That's right. Where are you gonna feel no pain? You ain't got no leg.
That is so true.
And then he's just like,
damn.
I've never even thought.
I'm not even high, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I've never even looked at it that way.
He's like, I'm gonna think about it tonight, though.
It's kind of weird.
Right?
He goes, bro, I've been thinking about that shit all day.
Damn.
Yeah, we've been working on a track that we have. I don't know if we can feature or can we? Is there a way to plug in?
Yeah,
or?
there should be an extra cable over
got a little
here.
preview for you
Yeah,
guys.
he did. JP did most of the arrangement and stuff. I kind of helped with some of the plugins and effects, and another buddy did too. But we featured this when we played this last Friday at Envy Lounge. So
Yes, sir.
Alright, just let me know when you guys are ready.
Make sure the
So-
little light's on the channel too.
yeah, it's a little taste of what we've been working on and kind of what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see.
but JP's a mastermind.
I'm always down
behind
for Hooray for Jose exclusives.
There you go.
Exclusives.
We gotta have a button that goes bow, 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 bow.
Oh, dude, I hate that sound.
Right? The DJ horn, the air horn, man.
Dude, I hate DJs that are just on the mic and doing that stupid effects. It's like, bro, let the music play.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I could see that as a DJ. Like, that's just like a bad
Oh
fucking
man,
excuse
dude,
for.
Jose knows I would pick apart.
Dude, you guys ruined fucking watching shows for me sometimes. Because then now I'm there. I'm like, nah, he's off. He's off.
Okay, here we go. So this is called did we call it riser or G riser?
G riser.
Something like that.
It's
It
still in
was
the
a working concept, but you'll see why it's called that because it's kind of like got a gangsterous bass line, but it's just
like the
built.
name.
It's like
The name speaks for itself. Riser.
Yeah.
You know?
This is a cool way to end the podcast.
yeah. Can we turn it up a bit or?
Let's see. You got
Got it, Mike?
Hope we're not like redlining or anything.
Good.
No, you guys are good. I'm already at max with you guys on that.
Okay.
You want me to turn it up from here?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can turn it.
Oh, that sounds
Sick.
badass. If I was rolling, I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh.
this isn't mastered or anything either.
Yeah, once it gets mastered, you'll definitely hear. This is like one of our first tracks that were coming out together. A buddy of mine put a little twist to it.
Yeah. Aristotle.
Yeah.
Big
I'm
up.
just getting a slight shout to this.
Shout out to
Credit
Aristotle.
to
I haven't talked-
Aristotle,
I
yeah.
haven't talked
Yeah.
to him in forever, man.
And then we got some other stuff that we're gonna be working together.
Yeah. So, when's your next show, JP?
I think our next, us, me and you,
March 7th. or
March
something.
7th, yeah. Our next show is March 7th. It's a Wednesday. It's La Cave, which is right there in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa.
Really cool little spot. It's like, it's a restaurant, but underneath, it's like you actually go underground.
Okay.
And it's 21 plus. It's all house music, anywhere from deep to tech, you know.
Yeah.
They have this new
some G-house stuff that we
G-house.
like, you know.
Yeah, we really kind of identified with G-house because we like hip hop. We're both dancers. Like we're both like b-boys, like break dance. Like used to get all down into it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, before producing days, I used to be a dancer back in the day. I used to be a boy.
So we like the hip hop
dope.
elements and like the club beats, like the bouncy, like so you can like do your thing. But yeah, that's kind of the direction with music that we take.
That's why like I always tag you in like posts and stuff when people are like, oh, who knows a good DJ for like a wedding or something like that. I'm like, tag you in because I know your hip hop shit's fucking on point.
Yeah.
On point.
You dude, honestly, it's all in the mixing, man. Like
Yeah.
when I played the saxophone and stuff when we were kids, and this guy, you know, he picked up production really, really, really fast. Like this arrangement is all him, and if you see it, the way he organized it, it's like intro, drop, bridge, break, like it's outro, like completely organized. Like working with him is a gem because it's always organized. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm more like creative direction. Let me get on a keyboard, like you know, stuff like that.
Let me work on something.
Yeah.
It's a good team.
Yeah,
Definitely
man.
a good team.
So this is like, yeah, we played this. It's more on like a techno side, but dude, that dance floor was popping when we freaking dropped this one.
Yeah, it was great, man. We just played this last Friday, and goddamn, I said we rocked the place.
Yeah, dude.
It's
So, like,
weird because it's like,
playing new music is kind of like comedy, right? Like where you have to like, well, let's see how this works and just
yeah,
Pretty much.
throw it out there. But yeah,
Pretty
what were you
much.
gonna
What
say?
time are you doing it? What time on the 7th? March 7th?
March 7th.
What time
I
is
believe. Well, we start at 10 that night. We're gonna be
Okay.
opening up that night, but we have an hour. I think it's like hour 15.
Hour 15, yeah.
Yeah, so we have
Okay.
hour 15 set. Opening's always like tricky because you have to keep people interested, and keep them mingling, getting their drinks, and
You're setting the mood.
right.
You can't go too hard,
You
too
can't
quick.
go too hard, too
We've seen
It's
a few openers do that.
Yeah,
and it's
some-
like,
dude, if any aspiring DJs out there,
learn
please
to open.
learn to open
Yeah.
first.
Learn your
to-
audience.
Learn beat
Learn your
matching.
venue.
Exactly.
And don't
This-
play the headliner's tracks.
No,
Exactly.
do not.
Yeah.
That'd be a dick move.
Oh, it's happened. People have been pulled off, man. They're
Honestly,
like,
the best way
done.
that we found to, if you want to get into a club that you really want to play at, you go
There
to
you
the
go.
club. Yeah, thank
How
you.
sick.
For that.
Cool.
But go to the club, find out who runs it, befriend them, let them know what you're about. You know what I mean? Then, you know what I mean? All this stuff like messaging someone on Facebook or like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
informal, it's unprofessional, and you're not going to get where you're going to go.
Exactly.
Relation making.
Yeah, dude. It's
Gotta
all
become-
about.
yeah, it's all network.
about
Put
the
that foot in the door, man.
relationships, dude. All
Put
about
that foot in the
people,
door.
All about people, man. But
Some little. The
Or if
newest look
you are
of
gonna hit them up in like over the internet,
Key
send a
Five.
formal email.
yeah. So,
144?
And here's your key
What
lab.
time?
144?
Oh, okay.
oh yeah. So this is our working loader for
No,
Key
no,
5
no, not what
Labs.
time of actual time.
Oh, it's like 5 something.
1730.
I gotta head out.
Yeah, we'll go right now.
I gotta go to T-Mobile.
Awesome.
My phone's
Well, thank you for
fucking-
having us, guys.
Yeah, man.
We had a hell of a time.
Instagram at Key 5 Laboratories,
And then-
at Music by Dre.
And then mine, all my social media handles are after the / is JPMusic08.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Right on.
Facebook,
I'm gonna add you
Twitter,
guys before I
anything.
get
Yeah,
out.
everything
Give
on
'em
mine
a-
is at
give 'em
Music
a-
by
Give them a
Dre.
follow, like
Okay.
their pages.
And then
You're gonna
IG
enjoy
for
the music
the
for
cannabis
sure.
stuff.
Cool.
Key 5 Laboratories, guys. Remember that.
Cool. Thank you for having us, guys.
Music, buddy.
Good shit.
Woo!
That was awesome, man.
Awesome.
Thanks.